can catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while I let Ivan scratch it. This is real hip-hop, shit, screw it, we'll attack it. Catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while I let Ivan. This is real hip-hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it. What you know about classic music?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is kind of strange times for this channel. I'm Owen the Birdman Finch, and I'm here with...
Chris.
And this is weird. There's going to be nothing to you guys, but Chris and I actually recorded this at night, which is already strange enough, because usually Chris and I can't really make anything work at night, because all the wrestling shows are on at night for the most part. And we're just never available to do night times unless it's been like GM or something. And then we're doing this on a Monday night, which is even more strange because as of recording, tonight WWE just had their last show in the European tour. So Raw was on earlier, as it's been the past 3 weeks. So it's just really strange times for Chris and I because we decided we're going to do retro today. We obviously haven't been as active as we wanted to be with the retro just because our schedule hasn't really lined up for it and everything like that. But now our schedule's starting to line up a little bit more where we can even do videos again and everything like that. And I didn't really think of this till recently because I ended up having to watch Raw the first week, normal time, and then I didn't really think of it until like this week, really. I was like, hey, you know what? We should just do a retro afterwards. Because I think on the Aftershock last week, you had, like, mentioned that, like, you haven't really known what to do with yourself, like, on Monday nights. You're like, I've been just going to bed early and everything like that. So I figured, like, let's just do a retro. We've had these retros planned. Let's use a Monday night to get a retro done. How's this feel for you? Strange times we're doing this on a Monday night?
Yeah, it does feel very odd. Very, very odd.
But, yeah, we're going to start the Mania retros. WrestleMania is, as Michael Cole said tonight, 19 nights away, which is just insane. This does feel like a long wait for Mania because obviously it's later this year, even though it's really not because I think if you probably do the math, I think it's the same time frame as the Rumble, but because the Rumble was late, Mania's late, so it's just going to be... Mania's going to be so weird this year, too, because it's also on Easter type of thing. So it's going to be a weird Mania this year. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can get the ball rolling on the WrestleMania retros. And we figured we would start out with a banger. This was your retro pick. It's WrestleMania X7. We have to solve the debate because apparently this is a debate. A lot of people say X7. Some people say 17. Which one is it for you? Do you say X7? Do you say 17?
I say 17, but when I'm like typing it out, sometimes I'll do X7.
Yeah, I actually usually say 17, but today I'm saying X7. But yeah, I would have typed it out recently. I've said X7, but apparently this is it because I remember Casey Gallagher and I talked about this. When it came to WrestleMania 16/2000, I asked him the same question, and the best thing he said was like, "Just call it whatever you want. It's really not worth getting into a debate over type of thing." But yeah, I think it's pretty obvious why you picked this Mania, but this is kind of a bit we do on the retros. I have to ask, why did you pick this Mania? What made you pick this Mania?
Um, it's a part of my childhood. I've gone back and watched it quite a few times around WrestleMania season. It's truly one of the greatest in WrestleMania's history. Um, just an awesome show, and you know we'll get to the reasons why. It's got a lot of really at the time um, insanely surprising actions that turned out to be not the best.
Yeah, yeah. I think at the end we'll talk about this, but this is considered to be if you pop if someone made a top 5 Manias in their list, this would be in there somewhere. Um, Before these last two Manias, I think a lot of people would probably have this like top 2 on the list, um, but yeah, this Mania is considered to be one of the best WrestleManias. It's really critically acclaimed. Um, when people, and it's not, I feel like too we're underselling it by just saying the best WrestleMania. Some people consider this to be like one of the best professional wrestling pay-per-views of all time. That's how good this Mania is, not type of thing. Um, and it's kind of weird because usually I talk about where wrestling is. Wrestling was in a really strange time at this time because it was still red hot and everything like that. Because obviously we're still in like the Attitude Era stage and everything like that. The business is doing well. WWF was coming off the probably like the best calendar year. Um, you know, in this on screen wise and everything like that in 2000, um, and everything like that, and just really turned shit around. And you know, uh, WWF was very profitable at this time with all the T-shirt sales. They had not just top stars; they had stars all over the show in the mid card, and they just had a variety of athletes on their rosters and everything like that. Um, However, though, outside of if the WWF, a certain thing happened like a week before the show, pretty much. Actually, that same week almost, because it was like the Colin episode of Raw when it happened. Um, Vince McMahon bought WCW and ECW like the same week. ECW obviously was pretty much going bankrupt. They had filed for bankruptcy, and then obviously they like ran one last pay per view, and then pretty much Vince bought uh, ECW and everything like that, and ECW was done, and WCW went out of business pretty much. Obviously. WCW was just really in the tubes at this time. Because of the bookings and obviously the partnership that ended up happening with AOL and Time Warner and everything like that. It pretty much effectively killed WCW. There was a whole documentary series based on that and everything like that. But WCW was done. And, Eric Bischoff tried to get his finance team in there to try to buy it. But obviously, everyone backed out of it the last minute and everything like that. So then Vince McMahon ended up making the purchase because obviously TNT didn't really want WCW anymore, and yeah, the Monday Night Raw before Vince McMahon bought WCW, and it was kind of a sad time to be a wrestling fan a little bit at this time, obviously, because pretty much two big wrestling companies were gone, pretty much. And this is kind of the first time really that WWF had been the big wrestling company in town, and they were the only big thing in like America at this point. And it was going to be quite. This was kind of a chance for WWF to kind of see if they could get some people to cross over and move over to get some of those WCW and ECW fans to keep those fans in tune with what they were doing. Um, and New Japan, was doing relatively okay at this time. I think they obviously lost out big because again they lost the main exposure to America because it was through that WCW partnership, and when WCW went out of business, that wasn't a thing anymore. But they were still doing relatively fine, and then AAA was doing relatively all right, and CMLL and all this stuff. But the real main thing is that we only had one wrestling company, and it was Vince McMahon and everything like that. Yeah. Anything you want to say about that? The fact that wrestling, even though WWF was doing well, wrestling itself was just in a really strange place at the time and everything like that.
Yeah, it was just WWE. They were the main show in town. Like there was no more ECW. Like Paul Heyman had been working for WWE already as a commentator, like basically under the table
Mm-hmm.
at the time, and he was never around ECW anymore. Like the Dudleys were gone. Like Tommy Dreamer was in full control of ECW at that point. And I remember I remember reading something that at one point, this is insane. Like Tommy Dreamer had planned to kill Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, hearing about this.
Very, very insane. Like that. Like he planned to do this because that's the most wild thing I've ever read. Thankfully he didn't. But yeah, that's the sort of mental state that Tommy was in at the time. And but in WCW was uh, dying I mean, they might have been. I don't think they ran their final show yet. I still think we were a few weeks out from that, but
No, they did because the big thing that happens on that show is Shane buys it, kayfabe, and then that's the last thing we see on Nitro, because the WCW wrestlers show up on the show and everything like
yeah,
that.
that's it too. So yeah, they so by the end of the year, Vince owns those two companies.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, like it's just it's just the WWF. They're the only show in town. This is sort of the end of the Attitude Era. Like it's the Attitude Era is coming to an end, and the Ruthless Aggression Era is about to kick off in the next spring in spring of '02. So
yeah,
this is really this show is kind of like the last hurrah for like the Attitude Era,
yeah,
and uh, what a damn great show it was.
yeah. What a damn finale it was. Yeah, but yeah. Let's just start talking about it. Kind of going through this show and everything like that. I gotta find the Wikipedia page for it. Oh, here it is. The show took place on April 1st, 2001. So if I upload this tomorrow, it will be like an anniversary. It will be like the 4th anniversary for it or something like that. So, um, kind of crazy to think about. Um, the show took place in Houston, Texas. And it took place at the um, the Astrodome, but they don't call it that anymore. It's it is the Astrodome, but they have the full
It
name
is,
of the
it is, but it's abandoned right now. Currently,
yeah.
it's been abandoned for a very long time.
But it took place at the Astrodome. First stadium media show, I think, because you know WWF had really only ran in like the arenas and stuff. This was the first time WrestleMania took place at a stadium, which is I think a big deal and everything like that. I think they had ran stadium shows before. Like I think 3 was in a stadium, but this is the first time where it would become like a recurring thing where manias would run in stadiums. Because next year they went in the Sky Dome for WrestleMania 18, and then 22 wasn't in a stadium, but then 23. And onwards have been in stadiums. So this is kind of like when they're starting to like do more stadium shows for WrestleManias and everything like that type of thing. Um, and it makes sense that they were going to sell this out too, because obviously the face of the company was from Texas, so it was going to be pretty easy to sell this out if you put them on the card, and that's exact. And most of the talent actually was from Texas. Taker was from Texas; he was a big star. Bradshaw was from Texas, and I'm pretty sure someone else from this show is from Texas that I can't think of at the moment. But once I start running down the card, I'll see it. But the attendance for this show was 67,925 people, um, which I think might be the real number. It could be fluctuated a little bit, but this definitely felt like a sold out stadium, um, and everything like that. The pay per view buy rate was 1,040,000 pay per view buys, which is really good for WrestleManias and everything like that. The tagline for the show was Houston, we have a problem. And at the end of the show, they were about to have a problem. So that kind of fits,
It,
sort of.
yeah,
But yeah, kind of going through the show. I'll stop. We agree. Originally, you were gonna do the notes, but then you decided like, nah, you're gonna do the notes. And as punishment for that, you're doing both notes for Raw and SmackDown and Aftershock this week if you even do it. So you're about to get like punished. You're about to do 2 note. And by the way, Raw and SmackDown are gonna be in a row for you, so you're gonna have to talk a lot on the Aftershock this week. You're doing notes for 2 shows in a row. Hope you're ready for that.
that's cruel.
But hey, you agreed that that's the punishment. Sometimes actions have consequence. In this case, no action has. Because technically, you're not doing the action you were supposed to do. So in a way, no action. No action for you has got consequence. So, um, but before this, we had Sunday Night Heat. Obviously this is Sunday Night Heat would basically be the pre-show for pay-per-views and everything like that. Not uncommon they do this because nowadays they just do like countdown shows and everything like that. But they had Sunday Night Heat. The host of that, Michael Cole and Taz. And this is interesting because this is obviously early days of Michael Cole and Taz working together because Taz is starting to kind of, pull back a little bit from the ring, obviously. Eventually, I think pretty much he's done wrestling by the end of the year altogether, and him and Michael Cole become like the mainstay play-by-play people on SmackDown and stuff. But it's interesting to see like the early days of them working together and everything like that. And it's really cool because obviously, I wonder if this was just them trying Taz out too, because obviously he hadn't fairly found his voice yet. But on commentary and everything like that. So it's really interesting that people were seeing this side of Taz for the first time, and it extended like Taz's career in wrestling and everything like that. Because if he didn't probably get behind the booth, who knows what would have happened and everything like that. But we had some things happen on the Sunday Night Heat. The commentary team for this show and for the entire Mania show itself, except for one match where we'll get to it, was Jim Ross and Paul Heyman. Uh, Obviously, I think probably if we did like a top five like pairings in commentary booth, this pairing of Jim Ross and Paul Heyman absolutely ruled. Um, Obviously, Paul Heyman was the heel and Jim Ross was the face. It really wasn't that way yet. Heyman was heelish, but obviously because the invasion storyline hadn't kicked in yet, he wasn't full on heel. But yeah, I thought this pairing between Jim Ross and Paul Heyman absolutely ruled. If I made like a top five commentary pairings, I think this would be in the top five. How do you feel about the pairing of Jim Ross and Paul Heyman?
I thought it was a um, really good pairing because with JR and the King, it was like even like towards like in the Ruthless Aggression era, like they were the faces. Like there was no heel commentator. Like Lawler would heel it up occasionally, but for the most part, they were both faces.
Yeah.
So it was a nice switch up to have someone like Heyman who would get under JR's skin and piss him off. So it was kind of fun to like kind of sit there and to watch it. It was a really, really, really good dynamic.
Um, But yeah, something that happened on Sunday Night Heat. William Regal was backstage, and he was talking to the Queen, saying he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship. And Michael Cole comes in and interviews him and says, like, what's your strategy tonight for the Intercontinental title match? And he said that he's going to make Jericho pay for all the dastardly things that he's been doing to him and everything like that. And he said that he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship, and he's going to be the best commissioner alive. So it's which in a weird way, one of those things happened. It just wasn't. It just was. It just would come a few years later. Throughout the show, they showed footage from WrestleMania Access. The night before, it showed China getting interviewed from the website by Michael Cole and Taz. Um, and she had mentioned that she had to sign like a home harmless agreement, buy the right to censor, so that way if anything happened to her in this match, she couldn't like sue them or anything like that. But also she found a loophole and pulled some bullshit and basically said that all the members of Right to Censor were going to be banned from ringside. There's an incident where like Undertaker and Triple H get into it at Access, which is pretty cool because you don't really hear stuff like that happen in Access. The only time, I mean, this year was the first time like two wrestlers got it, even though it's not Access anymore. Like I don't know if you remember LA Knight and like AJ Styles got into it at like WWE World last year and all that type
Yep.
of stuff. Kayfabe obviously, not real life type of thing. But yeah, then the Hardys got interviewed and they talked about they're gonna win TLC 2. What else happened at Access? That was pretty eventful. It was kind of weird. Kane was at Access, like just hanging out. He had like his mask on and everything like that. It was just really weird, to see Kane kind of break kayfabe like that and everything like that. So, yeah, the Access footage was good. Then you had the Chef Boyardee. Yeah, this was pretty funny. Where they apparently if you read Chef Boyardee, you do like a bunch of extreme sports because you see the people like snowboard and everything like that. And the Hardys come up and like, nah, that's not extreme. This is extreme. It shows them like doing all their high flying moves and everything like that. So, Chris, if you eat Chef Boyardee, you're going to be doing a snowboard and all that type of stuff. So be
Fuck
ready for
yeah.
that.
I also too gonna do Kane's arm thing, and then Chef Boyardee is gonna come flying out of the cans.
Yeah, why not? So, um, and then let's see what else. The Bushwhackers got interviewed by Lillian Garcia, and they are acting weird. They're just saying a bunch of random words, and they take out sardines and eat it and lick Lillian Garcia's head. And like you could see like the sardines like falling out of their mouths and all that type of stuff. It's pretty gross. Poor Lillian Garcia. This was definitely her being broken into the business in a hard way. Do you eat sardines? Because you eat a lot of weird foods. Oh, did I lose you? I got lost him. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I think I lost my Wi-Fi. I guess there. I asked if you ate sardines because you eat a lot of weird foods. I don't know if you heard me.
Yeah, I've tried them before.
Please tell me you didn't like them.
It's been a long time. I
Okay,
don't remember.
I might have to. Um, would you want the bushwhackers eating sardines and licking your face afterwards? Would you want that?
Fuck no.
Okay, so at least you're a normal person. Um, then we have it cuts to WWF New York where it was Classy Freddie Blassie, um one of the Anawahis, one of the Samoan you know I think it's Roman Reigns' father, not Alpha. It was Alpha. So not Roman's uncle actually. Then, um,
Yeah.
and it wasn't Superfly Jimmy Snuka, who was the other guy that was there. Oh, I forget the other guy that was there, but he was there. And they were predicting the WrestleMania gimmick battle royal, who was going to win it. So yeah, that happened. But they gave nice predictions. Um, And then it showed, and then Chris Benoit got interviewed, and he said that he's going to make Kurt Angle tap out tonight like he did on SmackDown this past week. So, um, and then Vince McMahon was backstage. I thought something was going to happen here, but he just showed him backstage for some reason. Just decided to. So, um, and then the commentators make their entrance because there was a match on the Sunday Night Heat show. I tried to get you to watch it, but you wouldn't watch it. It was Grandmaster Sexay and Steve Blackman versus X Pac and Justin Credible with Albert ringside. Um, the it was just a match, no real reason for it. They were trying to get over Steve Blackman and Grandmaster Sexy as a tag team at this time. Earlier, it showed footage where Steve Blackman and Grandmaster Sexy they're talking to each other, and um, you know, Grandmaster Sexy wants Steve Blackman to get down and start dancing and everything like that because he says that he feels that he has it in his bones and in his uh, flesh and all that type of stuff. And Steve Blackman says that that's not who he is. He uses his legs to hurt people. But it, Grandmaster Sexy at least is able to convince him to team with him. But he said that the dancing thing we're gonna have to think about and everything like that. Uh, he does come out and do some dancing though, because he's doing like a bunch of karate kicks and all that type of stuff, like to the beat of the song and everything like that. And eventually, he does put the sunglasses on. He does dance, which is pretty cool. And then the next thing that happens is the X Factor make their entrance, and everybody gets into a brawl. Um, you know, Steve Blackman and X Pac dominate early, and then eventually X Pac and Just Incredible get the heat when behind the referee's back, Albert hits a clothesline onto Grandmaster Sexay, and then they continue to get the heat on Grandmaster Sexay, and then eventually Steve Blackman gets the hot tag, and he starts going off on both people, and then eventually the match spills into chaos, and then Just Incredible and X Pac hit the double super kicks on Steve Blackman to get the victory. The finish came really out of nowhere. You could definitely tell they ran out of time, and then they had to get the pay per view started, so that happened. And yeah, I thought the match was all right. I give it 2.25 stars. It was serviceable. What'd you think of this?
It's a very serviceable match. Um, because this is the time when Scotty was dealing with his neck issues, so they needed something for Grandmaster to do, and the team up with Steve Blackman was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
Uh, they did a lot of funny segments because you know Blackman's a very serious individual, not in real life in a character. So he's a very serious individual, and getting him to do some of this funny comedy stuff like brought a whole new dimension to him. The team really worked. X Factor was incredibly bland.
very bland.
Um, and this is at the point where X Pac kind of like was overstaying his welcome in the WWF at this point. Um, I don't even I don't even know how much longer he was in the company for, but it wasn't for very much longer after this.
Yeah,
Uh, but he was getting X Pac heat. It was he lost his last match in July of 2002 because I forgot he was in the NWO.
that's
So
right.
he lasted about a year after this. And at that point, he was in 2001. Like people just didn't want to see him anymore. They were done with him. The shtick was kind of getting old. So he had really big time like what later became known as X Pac heat, which is
Yep.
like not the type of heat that you want, which is get off my TV. We don't want to see you anymore kind of heat. So, but yeah, overall, the match itself was fine. Very rare nowadays that there's an actual match on the pre-show, but that was a staple going for forever.
Yeah, up until I would say like 2022 maybe. I can remember the last time being a kickoff match and everything like that. Um, and obviously, I really wish they would add. I mean, they do it at the Saudi shows sometimes, but I really wish they would just have a match sometimes on the countdown shows, but instead of just panel talking. But obviously these wrestlers, we've done career retrospectives of all of them before. Albert, but because we haven't done retros in a while, we'll just update them as like a quick thing. Albert's in the same role. He's still a head trainer at the performance center and everything like that. Um, X Pac, just kind of chilling. He's under a Legends deal. He'll show up on occasion if there's like an A&E thing to film. Like he's on Rivals a lot. Um, and he'll kind of show up as like a legend appearance and all that type of stuff. Um, Just Incredible is kind of in the same role. He kind of works the indies on occasion and everything like that. I think he retired pretty recently. And then Steve Blackman, nothing new to say about him. It's the same as SummerSlam 2000's retro, so go watch that retro if you want a career retrospective on him. And then Grandmaster Sexay, unfortunately, is the same. He had a pretty unfortunate fate. But yeah, then we had the actual show itself. And like I said, the same people on commentary. And then we had some other people that were doing stuff on this show though. We had the Spanish commentary team of Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Savinovich. Nothing really has changed on them when it comes to the retro perspectives. The only thing that is they both do the Spanish commentary team for AEW and back in AAA now, which is pretty cool. The backstage interviewers were Kevin Kelly, Michael Cole, and Jonathan Coachman. Jonathan Coachman, the only thing really new to say about him is that he hosts a podcast now where he talks about current things and going on in wrestling. Michael Cole's the same. We can't really, we've said kind of all we could say about him. He actually has a personality now. That's cool. And Kevin Kelly's an interesting one because up until last year, he was the lead play-by-play guy for Collision and like I think some offhand AEW shows. But then he ended up getting pulled from Collision because what was it? Someone found footage. He was writing a book that was or like movies or something that was like really controversial or something. But then we found out that like all of that was bullshit or whatever. So what he's suing AEW for it, and like well, I think he's just specifically suing it. Oh, and Ian Riccaboni, because Ian Riccaboni is the one that like outed him and everything like that. So, is that it? Do I have that right? Is that exactly what happened, or I have that all wrong?
No, yeah, you got it.
Um,
Enric Abani's a prick.
yeah. And then for the ring announcer, it was Howard Finkel. Uh, he was still the lead ring announcer at this time. He would be slowly phased out shortly after this because Lillian Garcia would take his role and everything like that. Um, no, nothing new about his career retrospective. And then the referees for the show were Mike Chioda, Jack Doan, Earl Hebner, Jim Corderas, Theodore Lawn, which is interesting. Chad Patton, Mike Sparks, and Tim White. Nothing new about really these referees' career retrospectives. The only thing new is Tim White. Was it last year he went into the Hall of Fame and under the Royal Award, or was it the year before that?
I forget. I forget one, but it was recent.
Yeah. And then yes, Theodore Lawn does some stuff with Sportskeeda, running podcasts and everything like that. He'll show up on occasion and make matches and stuff. Um, and then Earl Hebner, is pretty much retired, but he'll show up part time, mainly for just to do bits and everything like that. Jim Corderas also, runs a podcast. Mike Chioda runs a podcast. And that's it. Everyone else is kind of just the same. Um, but getting to the actual show itself, it shows the intro video. The intro video was very good. It was just about like doing all these dog times people still find wrestling to get entertainment. And it's doing like old and agent times. It's doing when you're out on a first date where they talk about how wrestling just brings people together. It's a really good intro video package. I thought it was awesome. What do you think of the intro video package? I thought it was very good.
It's a classic. I love it.
Um, no national anthem or anything like that. I think this is the only Mania that hasn't done one. It was really odd, but it happened. Unless it's cut from the Peacock or network fee, because that could have been the case, but it's not there. Um, and then we had the first match on the show. It was an Intercontinental Championship match, and I don't have to be specific because there's only one of these on this show. Um, so, yeah, it's the Intercontinental title match. It's Intercontinental Champion Chris Jericho defending against William Regal. Um, and this feud started, William Regal became the commissioner of the WWF in late 2000. And he got into a feud with Chris Jericho, where Chris Jericho got sick and tired of William Regal, um, basically booking the show and basically making the show favor him or all the other heels and everything like that. So William Regal went on a mission to try to destroy Chris Jericho. He put him in handicap matches. Yeah, you know, uh, and everything like that. But Chris Jericho wasn't taking that. And obviously, this feud's known for its classic bits where Chris Jericho pees in William Regal's tea, and William Regal ends up drinking it and everything like that. And there's that bit where he disguises himself as Doink the Clown and attacks William Regal and everything like that. Um, and before this on SmackDown, Regal had put Jericho into the Regal stretch and injured his shoulder coming into this match. So Jericho was kind of working with an injury that he kind of didn't really sell too well. And he had like made him tap, so like he was in Regal's mind. No, sorry, Regal was in Jericho's mind and everything like that. That'd be weird if it was the other way around, but whatever. Regal's in Regal's mind for making Jericho tap out. That's weird. But I guess in my head, that's what happened. Um, and yeah, this is a really good opener here. Jericho starts off this match very aggressive and everything like that. He hits a really cool head scissors hurricanrana onto William Regal. He hits a drop kick to the outside. He throws him into the steps. Eventually, William Regal ends up catching Jericho, and he hits a suplex, sending Jericho ribs first into the rope, under the top rope, um, and William Regal exposes the buckle and throws Jericho shoulder first into it. He throws him shoulder first 2 times into the steel post. He hits a butterfly suplex off of the top turnbuckle onto Jericho, but he gets a near fall. And Regal's able to get a version of a Regal stretch onto Jericho, but he's not fully able to grasp his hands onto him. But Jericho's still able to get to the ropes. And Jericho starts mounting a comeback. He hits a super Hurricanrana, setting Regal off of the top rope. And he tries a handful of times to get Regal into the walls of Jericho, but because of his shoulder, he's unable to do it. Jericho hits I mean, it's significant nowadays. He actually hits the Judas effect from the second turnbuckle, but again, it wasn't the Judas effect then. So it was just a regular old elbow off the turnbuckle. But it's interesting that he was. It's just really interesting that he said this was a new finisher for him, but he hits it loads in the Attitude Era, but it wasn't his finisher yet, so it doesn't count, I guess. And then he hits a DDT on the Regal, but Regal kicks out. And then eventually, when he realizes that the walls of Jericho's not going to put Regal away, he hits the lion sword onto him and, gets the victory, and he beats Regal to attain his Intercontinental Championship. This was a really good match here. I thought these two worked really well together. It was a really good technical match here. I kind of liked that because I remember they would go on to have a match. It was like the Duchess of Queenberry's Rules match where they threw a lot of BS into that one. I like that they just kind of had a match here, and it showed that Regal, even though he was like the commissioner who was like goofy, he showed that he could be tough and get it done in the ring and everything like that. Even though he lost here, but whatever. But this was still really good. I give it 3.5 stars. If this match probably had 5 more minutes, I probably would have given it 3 3/4. I think they could have had really something special, but they still had a really good match. It was a really good opener. And it's moments like this you kind of forget that Chris Jericho was really talented and stuff back then, because nowadays Jericho's isn't really that I mean, he's still talented, but it's just it's very annoying nowadays. So but I give it 3.5 stars. What did you think of this match and everything like that?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. Yeah, this is sort of the beginning of Jericho's run here. Only been in the company a few years at this point, but yeah, this is an excellent match.
What's the star rating for this match?
3 1/4.
Yeah, it's really good. Obviously, again, I said, it's really weird though. Jericho would go on to lose the belt to Triple H like 2 days later, but they would still continue the Regal feud out of it. And then obviously we had the Duchess of Queenberry's Rules match where Regal would win, and then obviously nowadays with the career perspectives, William Regal is back in the company nowadays, and he just has the job that he had before, right? Like head of talent, like sign-ins and all that, talent relations at NXT, pretty much, head trainer and all that stuff. I think he's just back doing what he did before he left the first time. And then Jericho nowadays is the Ring of Honor champion, and he's pretty much, you know, um, kind of a blunder to AEW where now there's the term the Jericho verse, where if you get in a feud with Jericho, you just get sucked into his universe, and you can't do anything else until you get out of that universe and everything like that. It's not a fun time to be in a feud with Chris Jericho type of thing. Um, but yeah, the continuing, it showed Shane McMahon arriving. Um, I thought that something was gonna happen here, but it just showed him arriving. Uh, I think they do a bit where like the limousine arrives and you're meant to think that's him, but then you see him walk in. I think that was you know um foreshadowing that the WCW guys were gonna get shown. So that's pretty cool. Um, and then the acolytes and Jackie are backstage, and Bradshaw's upset that Taz isn't there discussing strategy of what they're gonna do in the like the censure match and everything like that, because he was doing like the pre-show stuff and stuff like that. But Taz, Bradshaw says that Taz has to realize that this is like a big event. He just mentions like several big events that have taken place like in Texas and in this stadium, and everyone just kind of gets into this passionate promo and just starts throwing poker chips and stuff around and everything like that. So the segment was good. You know, Bradshaw was very passionate here, so that's always good for him. What do you think of this and everything like that?
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Then we had the Light to Censor versus Taz and the Acolytes. I originally wrote the APA because I thought they had changed to that name, but they hadn't made that change yet. They were still the Acolytes and everything like that. So, um, yeah, yeah. So this match happens. You know, obviously, Light to Censor. We've talked about this before on this channel, but they were formed because the FCC and all that stuff started getting on WWF's case to cool it down a little bit when it came to the Attitude Era because they were doing a lot of you know uh, outlandish stuff at this time that would get you pulled from TV. And I think too, like new laws that starting to open up when it came to that stuff because they were starting to get out of that phase. So WWF responded by making a whole faction and making a whole storyline out of it and everything like that. Where they would the good father. I'm sorry, I almost said the good father became the Godfather. It's the opposite of that. Um, that would have been good if he's in this faction and he's the Godfather in this faction. That would have been. But the Godfather became the Good Father, and obviously this was censored because obviously the Godfather's gimmick was, that he was like a pimp and everything like that. Now he's not that anymore. He's being censored. And then Val Venus, he was doing a lot of outlandish stuff at this time, and he was being censored. And then, Steven Richards was obviously very big in ECW and everything like that. He was being censored. And Bobby Cannon was just there. I don't think he did anything like outlandish before this. He was just kind of there. He was just being censored. So and then Ivory obviously would do was part of the bra and panty matches because I was a big thing back then. She was being censored. Um, there was really no reason for this feud itself. It was just kind of happening. I think they wanted to get Bradshaw on the show because he was from Texas. Um, and that was kind of what was going on. Everyone just kind of brawls around at first. Um, you know, and it's a bunch of chaos and everything like that. Um, Bradshaw hits a really good, Farouk hits a really good scoop slam, and Taz hits a really good Taz suplex, the Tazplex, which is really cool. And the heels get the heat for a little bit on Taz. It's very brief, but it's decent stuff. Bobby Cannon was really a good talent. He really should have, if he had been in the WWE, maybe in the NXT 2019 era, I think he really would have had more of a chance to maybe not be a star, but be a really good wrestler and everything like that because he just he was in the wrong era because he you watch some of his matches, he's just very athletic for a guy his size and everything like that. I forgot to mention it was only the Good Father, Val Venus, and Bobby Cannon that were in this match. Steven Richards was just ringside. I don't know why he went in the match, but he wasn't. And then eventually Val Venus misses a splash from the turnbuckles, and Bradshaw gets the hot tag, and the Acolytes start going off on the Light to Censor, and they start beating up, them all up and everything like that, and then eventually Bradshaw beats I believe it was Val Venus with the clothesline from Hell. And this was cool because obviously Bradshaw was from Texas, so we got to have a nice WrestleMania moment out of this in front of his hometown and everything like that. So this was kind of cool for Bradshaw and everything like that. Because if you think about it, this was probably going to be the biggest WrestleMania moment he thought what he was going to have until later. So it's kind of cool for him. I gave this 3 stars. I thought this was serviceable. This was solid stuff and everything like that. It's weird. This match you remember being really short, but it's actually longer than you think it is because you think this is like a squash, but the heels do get some heats. But it's still good stuff though. I give it 3 stars. What did you think of this match and everything like that?
I give it 3 stars. It's pretty solid. It's a very solid match.
And obviously, their career retrospectives, we've done the Acolytes before. The only thing new is that, Bradshaw nowadays has been doing an excursion in the indie circuit where he's just been taking everyone's head off with clotheslines from hell. And he said that he's been cleared to return to wrestle if he like really wanted to and everything like that, but nothing's come of it really. He's been kind of doing stuff with like Nick Nemeth, where like he was helping him win his world title matches and stuff, and they were doing like a partnership, but not much has really come of it recently. And then Farouk is just kind of doing his thing, and then Taz is still working with AEW. He just had a health issue. What was his health issue recently? Because I wasn't following AEW much when he was gone, type of
Oh,
thing.
Ted. He had knee replacement surgery.
Oh, so I guess he didn't have a health issue. He just had knee replacement surgery. I thought someone said he had a health issue, but I guess I was wrong. Um, he just came back recently, right? Or is he still gone?
Yeah, he's back.
Um, and then yeah, like the censor didn't last much longer after this. I'm pretty sure this was like one of the last big things they did together was like a faction and everything like that. And then you know, pretty much all of them would disband shortly afterwards and just kind of go back to the original gimmicks and everything like that. And then Val Venus is very controversial nowadays. He just says a lot of weird stuff about nowadays wrestlings. Did he have a thing where he went off on like LA Knight or something like that? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Didn't he go? He went off on
Yeah.
somebody.
He goes off on he's very he's just a strange individual.
Yeah, I remember he went off on somebody. I just don't remember who it was. So,
Yeah, trans people.
oh, maybe that was it. Um, and then Steven Richards runs his own podcast now. It's actually a very good podcast. I've listened to it a few times. It's really good. Um, and then yeah, Steven Richards runs his own podcast. Um, Bo Buchanan, was wrestling the Indies for a little bit. He just retired pretty recently. Um, does he work with the PC or does he not work with the PC? Because I thought that's like the whole reason his son was able to get a tryout.
I don't think he does. I think he's wrestling free
Okay.
and
And
has been for
then
a long.
uh well I remember him and his son did like a match like before his son like you
Yeah,
know
they I think they teamed up like a couple of times on the Indies.
um and then so that's Bo Buchanan. Who am I missing? Oh, the Good Father is just the Godfather again, just having a grand old time enjoying his life. So it's good for him, you know. We like it when people enjoy their lives. So well, I guess not Val Venus because of how strange he is. So not him. Um, and then Trish Stratus and Linda McMahon were backstage, and they were late, which was foreshadowing for what was going to happen into this show. And Stephanie McMahon, kind of tells Trish Stratus to make sure that you know, you get all the right stuff for like my father, like get his coffee and everything like that. Um, but yeah, I like this because this was foreshadowing for what was going to happen later on in the show, and you could tell that Trish Stratus wasn't happy to do this stuff and everything like that, and all that type of stuff. Because this was kind of in the midst of that storyline where like Vince and Trish were an item, but like Vince humiliated Trish on television and everything like that, which is very controversial. Well, it was controversial then, but it's even more controversial, with all the other stuff that's come out about Vince and stuff. Um, but I like this segment here because this was good foreshadowing for what was going to come later. What you think of this?
It was interesting.
It's a thin. Um,
Yeah,
and then we had a hardcore championship match. It was Raven defending the belt against Kane and the Big Show. Um, Kane and Big Show were feuding at this time. I'm pretty sure Kane had eliminated like the Big Show from the Rumble this year. Um, and Raven was just kind of brought into it. Big Show and Raven had a match at No Way Out for the belt where Big Show beat him for the belt. And then Raven won it back. And then Kane was brought into it somehow. Not really sure how, but he was. But it benefited everybody involved. Well, I guess not Raven because I'll get to that. But before the match starts, before the Big Show even comes out, Raven comes out with a shopping cart full of weapons. One of them was like a Frankenstein dummy, which was really cool. And really, I really noticed it until I watched the show like today that like that was in there type of thing. But Yeah, so Raven starts attacking Kane. He hits him off the head with a like a wet floor sign, and then he starts bashing him over the head with a street sign. None of these have any effect on Kane really. They're just kind of more of an annoyance to Kane than having an effect. But Raven's also attacking him with mops and everything like that. While the Big Show's making his entrance, and Big Show's just doing his normal entrance, like while all of this is happening, which is pretty cool. I would have liked it if, because at the time he wasn't doing this yet, he did like his taunt and everything like that, like on the ramp, like while this was going on, type of thing. Um, and Kane's able to fight back from Raven, and Kane takes Raven, picks him up in a gorilla press position, and just tosses Raven onto the Big Show, and Big Show catches him, and Big Show's about to do some type of slap to him or something. But Kane dives off the top turnbuckle and takes down both Raven and Big Show. And then Kane and Big Show brawl through the crowd. They clearly wanted to get the most usage out of what they could with the first like big stadium show like this, because they go, as we're gonna talk about
They go
throughout the
everywhere
show. Yeah, they
for
go
the most part.
not just in this match too. They go everywhere
Yeah.
in other matches and stuff. But yeah, Kane and Big Show brawl through the crowd, um, and during this, Raven pops up like from backstage, and he pops up with like a some type of street sign and starts bashing Kane and the Big Show like with it and everything like that. And Big Show body slams Kane onto a stack of wooden pallets, which have a lot of give. And don't forget, Jacob Fatu picked up those things recently, like they were nothing. That's scary. That's what I was thinking about when this happened. Like, wow, that's that. And then I got scared thinking about Jacob Fatu because that dude is a scary man. Um, but doing all of this, Big Show locks Raven into into a fencing area that has like a bunch of like landscape and equipment and all that type of stuff. It doesn't last long. Big Kane's able to get into there pretty quickly. Type of thing. He just rips the door off, which makes sense because Kane would be able to do this. And Kane and Big Show start fighting into this in this little area and everything like that. Raven starts choking Kane with a garden hose, and Kane reverses it. He starts choking Raven with a garden hose, and he like throws Raven onto like a chain link like fence area. Um, and then at one point, Big Show tosses Raven and throws him through a glass wall, which is just insane. Um, I forgot to mention this also happened. I think Kane at one point bounced Raven, and he like went through like a wall, like his head just went through like a wall. And then Big Show and Kane start fighting. Um, Kane splashes Big Show while he's propped up against a door and like breaks the door and everything like that. And they start fighting into this room. Uh, it's like I think this room's like a sauna room or something like that. And Kane and Big Show have each other set up like they're gonna do choke slams to each other, and then they both like walk sideways and just go through a wall and everything like that. It was really cool. And then Raven comes into like the next room and just starts you know bashing Big Show and Kane. Um, you know with like a street sign and everything like that, or a trash can lid. And then Raven takes a golf cart, and this is kind of interesting. So he drives the golf cart, and Big Show's on the is right behind him, and he crashes it through like a fenced in area and everything like that. And this is obviously interesting because obviously we know nowadays that this almost didn't go well because Raven almost cut the feed to the Mania because there was wires there that would have like cut out the electricity and everything like that. Um, I feel like this might be true, but I feel like some of that might be bullshit because they have generators and shit where they could prevent that from happening. So I feel like we probably would have lost the feed, but I feel like they could have just thrown on a generator real quick. I feel like some people bullshitted that story. Uh,
I mean, I think it's partly true.
Oh, I'm not saying it is true, but everyone who says this story like says like we would have lost Mania X7. I'm saying like I assume they had generators and stuff as like a fucking backup. Like it's not like they were gonna lose fucking Mania over that type of shit. But Um, it happens. But then doing this, Kane grabs the golf coat and starts riding. The referee's riding behind him and everything like that. And this is where you know, um, Raven wasn't benefited from Kane being in the match because there's a mess up here where Raven and Big Show are fighting, and Kane accidentally ran over Raven's foot, which caused him to break his leg in this match and everything like that. It was really scary. Um, it's really funny, obviously, because it's but also tragic at the same time. Um, but Raven still continued the match. You wouldn't have even known he broke his foot from this match. Um, and During all of this, Kane and Big Show keep fighting. Raven takes like a stack of marshmallows or something and like hits the Big Show with them. And then Big Show takes Raven and just like tosses him through a table that had like a bunch of food on it and everything like that. And Paul Heyman got upset about this because there was Snapple on there, and he was looking forward to having Snapple afterwards. It was like his favorite drink, and he didn't get to have it. So Paul Heyman not being able to get his Snapple. Um, and they fight over towards the stage, and Big Show sends Kane and throws him into the Titantron. And Big Show picks up Raven into a gorilla press position. He's about to toss him off the stage, but then Kane hits a big boot on the Big Show, and Big Show and Raven fall off the stage through this structure. Um, and then Kane, the commentators say it's a leg drop, but this was not a leg drop. It was he hits an elbow drop into the structure onto the Big Show, and pins the Big Show, and becomes the new hardcore champion. This match was very good, really good hardcore match here. Just a bunch of stupid shit happening, but it was awesome, and I thought this was very good. I give it 3 3/4 stars. I think this match is very good. And I really think they make a lot of use out of this match for as little time as it is and everything like that. And they really and they do a lot of really innovative stuff with this match. So this match I give 3 3/4 stars. What'd you think of this?
Um, 3 3/4 too. I thought it was really. I thought it was very good. Had some of like some of the most classic WrestleMania moments, like the golf cart chase. Yeah, it's a really great match.
That golf cart chase apparently too was supposed to like go on for a while, but because Raven fucked up, obviously they had to improvise there. But that's still pretty cool. Um, But yeah, obviously with career retrospectives, Kane is still the mayor of Knoxville County and everything like that. Big Show's just being fucking wasted away in AEW. He's like the commissioner of ROH, and yeah, he's just being fucking wasted. I mean, I don't know what more he could be doing in WWE, but at least he'd be doing something. I feel like he would be doing something bigger if he was there, but maybe I'm wrong. And then Raven, after this would um nowadays kind of shows up sporadically at wrestling events. He just showed up pretty recently in TNA, and he's just been doing some good stuff there. So that's everyone's career retrospectives there. Um, and then we had Kurt Angle backstage, and he's pretty intently watching the footage from SmackDown because he's upset that Chris Benoit made him tap out and everything like that. And Edge and Christian come up to him, and they're all excited and ready for their title matches and everything like that. And Edge and Christian bring up the fact that after you beat Chris Benoit, and we win the tag titles, we can go out and celebrate like the old days and everything like that. But Kurt Angle's just so intense. He looks at the footage and he just says, "Did you know that if you tap out when there's not a match or anything like that, it doesn't count and all that type of stuff?" And Edge and Christian are really creeped out by this and kind of walk away. I really like this segment here. I liked how intense Kurt Angle was, and he makes a good point. If you tap, he's right. If you don't, if you tap out when there's no match going on, it doesn't count as a tap out. He's absolutely 100% correct. So, yeah, what'd you think of this and everything like that? This actually segment was really good, and I liked the intensity of Kurt Angle.
I did too. I thought it was a really good segment. It showed the first real glimpses of first real glimpses of his aggressive side.
Do you agree with him? If you tap out and it's not a match, does it count as a tap out?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, you know. Now we just have to get you on the wall of Al Grande Americano, and then
No,
everything's all good. We're not. This isn't the video for that, but that would be Wednesday's episode. Um, and then it cuts to WWF New York when it shows Superfly Jimmy Snuka having a good time. So it's good for him, having fun. What do you think of this?
yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he's having a fun time. Um,
Yeah,
and then it showed someone named Linda Craftsman who apparently flown the furthest. She came from like Australia, and she just talked about how she's having a great time at WrestleMania. So happy she's
it's
having
good
a
for.
good time. Yeah, it'd be funny if like the person next to her like was like one house over, like further away type, or one neighborhood over further away. Then technically, would she be the furthest person there, or nah? I don't think that'd be the case. But
No,
you know, uh, and then it showed the Walk of Ivan. Again, I thought something was gonna happen here, but nothing happened. So there you go. Then we had a European Championship match. It was Test defending the championship against Eddie Guerrero with Perry Saturn inside. This is kind of interesting because this is right before Perry Saturn gets the Moppy gimmick type of thing because he was very much not that. So because he got punished for like you know almost injuring the job and working very stiff on him and everything like that. So this is like right. I think this is probably like right before that happens because I remember there's a retro we did of a SmackDown that happens in August '01, and that's a big thing that happens on that SmackDown type of thing. So, um, but yeah, the reason for this match, Tess and Eddie Guerrero had been kind of getting under each other's skin. And on Raw before this, Eddie Guerrero was the special guest referee, and he used that opportunity to beat up Test and everything like that, which is interesting. He stood home on the Go Home show because as you get, because I remember that was a big thing that happened in the Vince era, where if you stood home on the Go Home show, you were losing at the pay per view. I guess Eddie Guerrero was able to surpass that, so good for him. Um, and this match also was pretty good. Ted starts off very aggressive. He starts hitting some really good power moves on the. I almost say Kurt Angle. It's not Kurt Angle. It's Eddie Guerrero. But he hits a really good pump up handle power slam. He hits a really good power bomb. But eventually, you know, um, Tess is about to do a clothesline to the Guerrero, but he ducks and you know. He gets tangled up into the ropes, and Eddie Guerrero uses that to kind of chop away at Test. And then Eddie Guerrero starts working over the leg of Test, starts really targeting it. Um, he hits a really cool brain buster onto Test, and he's about to go for the frog splash, but Test recovers too quickly and hits a senton. Before this, there was a point where Eddie Guerrero hit a really good DDT on the Test and nearly got a near fall. So I want to make sure I mention that. He also hit a really good neck breaker in this match at one point too, which was cool. And then Test starts mounting a comeback. Um, he hits a really good power bomb that could have gotten them the win, but uh, Perry Saturn distracts the referee, and then Tess pulls in Saturn and hits a big boot onto him, and then Tess hits a big boot onto Eddie Guerrero, but Dean Malenko pulls Test off before he can finish making the cover, and you know Tess knocks off Dean Malenko while Perry Saturn distracting the referee, and then Eddie Guerrero hits Tess with the European Championship and follows this up with the Frog Splash and becomes the new European Champion. This is a pretty good match. I thought, their styles really meshed with Eddie Guerrero kind of being like the, even though he wasn't doing that gimmick yet, but he was kind of being like very, you know, cowardly and everything like that, and kind of taking cheap shots at Tess and using the numbers game to his advantage. And Tess's power moves really stood out. So I thought this match was pretty good. I give it 3.25 stars. What would you give this match?
I give it 3.25. It was an excellent match.
Um, and this was kind of the reuniting of the Rascals, except for Chris Benoit because he didn't really need that faction anymore. Um, obviously after this, Test, we've done career retrospectives on him before, and then Eddie Guerrero. I'm pretty sure this is one of his last years in the company, because doesn't he get released like the next year and everything like that? Because I remember he gets released later in the year, and then he comes back like next year and all that type of stuff.
I think
So
it's the. I think it's very close to the after this.
Yeah. So, um,
November of '01.
there you go. Um, and then but yeah, this was a pretty good match here. And then Mick Foley gets interviewed, and Michael Cole wants to know like if he's going to be an impartial referee after what Vince McMahon has put him and Linda McMahon through. And Mick Foley said that Michael Cole is crazy, that he's going to call this right down the middle. And he says right here in Houston, Texas. He does that cheap pop thing where he names the city. I think this is like when he first like started doing that, because that was commissioner days when he started doing that. So this was kind of early into that stint and
Yeah,
everything like that. So that's cool. What do you think of this segment right here? I thought it was good.
I love it. Mick would always get the would always do the this is the beginning of the cheap pop thing that he would do. So
Yeah.
kind of funny.
And then Stone Cold arrives. He looks like a desperate man, as we're going to talk about. Um, and certain your hero took notes from this desperate man right here, because he just did this. He sold his soul recently. So, um, and then we had Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. This match was literally set up the go home week of WrestleMania. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit got into an exchange, and they did a bit where Kurt Angle made Benoit tap out on Raw, and then Benoit, you know, um, made Kurt tap out on SmackDown. Um, so they're kind of going in even here. This was kind of like the technical wrestling match of this show. I think that's what's so good about this show too is every match had variety up to this point. You had Jericho and Regal. That was that even though Regal was the technical wrestler, Jericho was kind of like in between that, where he was like a high flyer technical wrestler. You had that 6-man match, which was just a brawl. You had the hardcore title match, which was just a bunch of hardcore stuff, and then you had the big man versus in-ring savvy technician, and here it's just two technicians going at it. How do you kind of feel about too that the card structure of this show is there's just so much variety going on here, and everything like that.
Yeah, it's been very balanced so far.
Um, But yeah, the match starts. Kurt Angle cuts a promo talking about how much he hates Texas. He mentions that they're just brain dead and everything like that. He mentions that they have a flag that doesn't even have all 49 state like stars on it and everything like that. Uh, he mentions that he's ashamed that this was one of the states that he represented when he wanted the Olympic gold medal. And this is really funny. He also mentions he tells everyone to grow up and stop wearing cowboy hats, and that's really funny considering that he's going to be wearing one pretty soon in the year type of thing. So that's it's pretty funny. How do you feel about that? Kurt Angle was kind of a hypocrite there. He's yelling at people for wearing cowboy hats, and pretty soon later on, he's about to wear a cowboy hat himself.
Oh yeah,
um, And then, yeah, we had the match here. It's very technical in the beginning. A lot of the match is Chris Benoit out wrestling Kurt Angle. And they do a really good story beat here where, because Chris Benoit is out wrestling Angle, when the referee's pulling back Chris Benoit, Angle uses this opportunity to take a cheap shot. And he kind of starts wrestling a little dirtier, not even technical wrestling. He's just beating him up, throwing him into the barricade, throws him into the steps, bounces him head first off of the Spanish announcers table. And, you know, uh, Kurt Angle gets the heat on Chris Benoit for a while. He gets a really good suplex on him. He locks him into a half Boston Crab. Eventually, Chris Benoit mounts a comeback. He gets a really good German suplex onto Kurt Angle. Um, and they both kind of start exchanging submissions. Angle does a half crab, followed by Benoit doing a half crab. Benoit does an ankle lock, and Angle follows this up by doing a crossface, which is cool that they stole each other's submissions and everything like that. And Benoit hits a diving headbutt on the Kurt Angle that looked more safe than the other ones he's done, so that's good, I guess. And then Angle hits the moonsaults, but Chris Benoit kicks out of it. Angle hits the angle slam, but Benoit kicks out of that. And then eventually, Chris Benoit locks Angle in a roll up, and then Angle reverses that into a roll up of his own and holds the tights for the win. And the Kurt Angle beats Chris Benoit here. I give this 4 stars. I feel like there was a couple of bits where I don't think the crowd was really into this match. That could have been one of those things where it's a stadium, though, you can't really hear the crowd reacting sometimes, because some of the wrestlers says that's an issue. But I feel like, too, this match is great, but I think they've had better matches. I think, the Rumble 03 match, and I think they were probably holding back a little bit because, as we're going to talk about in this show, this wasn't just a one and done thing. They were clearly doing this with the vision of having more matches, especially with the way Angle won and everything like that. But I still thought this was a great match, very technical, and this was the slow stages of Benoit turning face, because I don't know if because they were both heel going into this match, and Benoit clearly. I don't think he turns face in this match per se, but you could definitely tell he starts to. So I remember after this, he starts to do the tag team with Jericho and everything like that. Um, so Benoit was like slowly turning babyface and everything like that, which is kind of weird because then Angle just ends up turning babyface very quickly, not long after this type of thing. So because they were going to need him as a babyface for someone else that was turning heel later in the show, which is we're gonna really unpack. But overall, what did you think of this match and everything like that?
I thought it was a really great match. They always had this chemistry from the outset. Um, really good. I give it 4.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think I like it because you don't really see on Mania where they'll use a match to like further an angle. Usually Mania is like the culmination of it and stuff. And this was kind of like the start of the feud, because I'm pretty sure after this they would go on to have that ultimate submission match. And I'm pretty sure they had like that 3 stages of hell match for like Angle's gold medals and everything like that. So yeah, and we've done career retrospective of both these guys, so we don't need to do that again. So um, Angle's making a movie about his life, so that'll be fun if that comes out, type of thing. Um, so um, and then William Regal gets interviewed, and Michael Cole's asking if he's okay because he was in the trainer's room for a while. And William Regal just kind of tells him to bugger off and everything like that, like he's fine. And then he goes into his office and he sees that Kamala's being he's like rubbing the picture of the queen like on his belly and everything like that. And it was weird. What do you think of this? This was really weird.
Yeah, it was very weird.
A good type of weird, though. Like, this wasn't a bad segment or anything like that. Just Kamala's weird sometimes.
It is very weird.
Um, Poor Regal too. He just can't seem to have anything going. He loses the Intercontinental title match, and then he has Kamala rubbing the Queen of England on his belly and everything like that. Oh, do you think he watched that picture afterwards? Do you think he just put it back up there?
Just put it back up there.
I forget too. He drank piss like what, like a couple weeks before this too. Like Regal was
Yeah,
not. He was not having a good time.
piss drinker.
Huh?
The
Well,
piss drinker.
he didn't know it was piss. So,
Man, no, maybe he liked it.
did you see you've seen that segment? Did those facial reactions look like he liked it? He
Oh
was.
yeah.
Apparently, we have to talk about facial reactions because I don't think Chris knows what facial reactions are. So,
Oh, that he
um,
loved it.
and then it shows a pep rally where it shows like WWF going to visit the troops. This was pretty solid. Um, do you even know what I'm talking about? And nah,
It happened on the show.
it did happen. But actually, it was just clips. It didn't even happen on the show. It was weeks before this. So, um, and then Kurt Angle gets interviewed after this, and he mentions, that uh, he won that match fair and square, no cheating or anything like that. He said that he proved that he's the best technical wrestler in the world. And then afterwards, Chris Benoit attacks him from behind and locks him into the crippler crossface. And Angle is tapping out, but Benoit just won't let go. He's gonna keep that hold on until Angle passes out and everything like that. Notice I could have said something else there, but I didn't want to open that can of worms. So, what'd you think of this segment here? This was very scary for Kurt Angle.
Yeah, it was. It was extremely scary.
This was good though. Good furtherization of feuds.
Yeah.
You know. Um, then we had a women's championship match. It was Ivory defending against China. Um, China got injured towards the end of 2000 and by the right to censor. Um, and she came back at the Rumble, and they had a women's title match where China got hurt. Um, well, kayfabe wise in that match, and you know, Ivory kept mocking her for it and everything like that, and then China returned and announced that she was going to have this rematch, and this time, Right to Sense is banned from ringside. So we had the match, and oh, what do you think of Right to Sense's theme music? Because you haven't done a retro where you've been on for the appearances and stuff. I thought the theme song was very annoying, and I never want to hear it again.
Yeah, or as New Legacy Inc. Says, it's horny.
Oh, it is?
No, every every time I hear it now, I think a New Legacy.
There you go. Um, and then we had the match, and Ivory tries to get the advantage early in the match when she blasts China in the back of the head with the women's championship, and she goes after the neck of China, and then China mounts a comeback. She beats the crap out of Ivory, and she hits a like a choke slam, no, a power bomb onto her, and she clearly could win the match right there, but she just wants to do a little bit more punishment onto Ivory. So then she beats her with a gorilla press slam and then a splash and wins. This was good. That's exactly what it should have been. China coming back. This absolutely should have been the case. Ivory had gotten a lot of heat at this point. This would be better if probably China had just instead of having, because China returned at like a couple weeks before. This should have probably actually been her return, like the first time we saw China type of thing, instead of like showing up on Raw before this. In hindsight, but this was good. I would have had the power bomb be the finish though, not the gorilla press slam, because that was kind of weak. What'd you think of this?
Eh, it's a typical. It's fucking really. I don't know if she didn't want to get hurt or whatever it was, but it was just like, all right, let's just put the title on China, but let's do it in fucking 2 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yeah,
Make it quick. Like it just. She had a nice entrance. She wore the pink gear for the first time,
that's right.
um, and it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't suit. It just felt like they were trying to do stuff to not hurt her.
Yeah, I give it 3 though. I thought it was what it should have been.
I'll give it like 2.5.
Yeah, but she did have a special entrance here where she had like a firework shooter type of thing where she would shoot the device and it would
And the bazooka cannon.
yeah.
It's a sick entrance, but like that's like the best part about her gimmick was her entrance because
Yeah.
she wasn't that good.
No, she wasn't. You realize if she wrestled nowadays, a lot of people would probably have hated her probably if you think about it. Like she would be like called out for being bad. It's just
Oh,
she
100%.
we would I'm not saying we would be the same people probably type of thing too. So
Oh,
um
definitely.
but yeah, the firework bazooka. I think I told you this. They were selling this at the fireworks store in South Carolina when I was there last year, and I was more focused on what company Stephanie Vacchio was going to go after than the fireworks store because that was a big deal. This is when the guy kept like creepily like you could just tell he had no life outside of that because he kept like hyping up these fireworks and everything like that, and it's just like, dude, get a life. This is you. There's more to life than fireworks type of thing. I'm just like there's fireworks going on and with Stephanie Vacchio right now. That's the fireworks you need to be focusing on right there. Like, um,
There's fireworks that need to be sold.
and the right and the fireworks went to the right places. Type of thing. It was awesome. Um, I think it was at the fireworks store too where I found out that Stephanie Vacchio signed to WWE, and I was like, wow, those are bigger fireworks going on right there. That's awesome. Because it was. Um, yeah, career retrospectives. Ivy will show up on occasion and make like a legend appearance, whether it's under this gimmick or other gimmicks. And China, unfortunately, this was pretty much the last year of China in WWF. After this, she would leave the company as champion. because they couldn't come to terms on contracts and stuff, and she wanted to do more, wanted to get paid more, but she wanted to get paid like Stone Cold Steve Austin level, and WWF's like, no, that's not happening, which you kind of see that. Um, and then it was pretty much a downward spiral up to that point, just very tragic. Go watch an A&E thing, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Um, and then the McMahons and Trish Stratus are backstage, and Vince McMahon's all hyped up, um, ready to beat the crap out of his son. And Vince McMahon makes sure that Trish Stratus upped Linda McMahon's dosage of her drugs and everything like that. And yeah, we'll get to that later, because Trish said she did. So, um, and then Vince McMahon, Michael Cole comes in and asks how he feels about Shane McMahon buying WCW, and he said that he hates being made a fool of, and he said that he's gonna make Shane McMahon an example of what happens when you make a fool out of him. Um, I like this segment here, and there was some good foreshadowing here. What'd you think of this?
Um, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Um, then we had a street fight with Mick Foley as the special guest referee. It was Vince McMahon with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley ringside versus Shane McMahon. The reason for this match was Vince McMahon went through a midlife crisis at this time, um, where he was embarrassing his wrestlers on screen. He pretty much kicked up his Vince McMahon character like 15,000 notches. Um, this is where you can make
Oh
the
yeah, he was diabolical at this point.
yeah. Um, and then he divorced Linda. He fired Mick Foley as the commissioner of the WWF. Um, and it led to him drugging Linda McMahon. And she was in like a catatonic state up until this show. Well, as we're gonna find out, probably before this show even happened, actually. So, um, and he started humiliating Trish Stratus, which is a very controversial segment where he made her strip all her clothes off and everything like that. And then Shane McMahon had enough. He had enough of Vince McMahon humiliating people and no one doing anything about it. So Shane McMahon stepped up and beat the crap out of his father. And on the go home episode of WrestleMania, just to really stick it to him, Vince McMahon all day thought he bought WCW. He said he was going to finalize the deal over the weekend and everything like that. But we found out that the name on that deal said McMahon, but it didn't say Vince McMahon. It said Shane McMahon, and obviously that was the starting stages of the invasion angle that went to shit. And I don't think we're gonna spend a lot. I think that's all we're gonna say about that because that's probably a whole video in and of itself. Um, but the starting stages seemed like it was good. So, um, which is weird because I don't actually they weren't even planning the invasion angle at this point. So, but yeah, we got this match here. Um, Shane McMahon makes his entrance, and I kind of forgot here that he he didn't have his themes. He didn't have the "Here Comes the Money" theme. He was still using Vince McMahon's "No Chance in Hell" theme, which is really funny. I don't know why they didn't change his theme here because that would have made sense because he wasn't even
It would have.
yeah, but whatever. Um, and then he introduces the WCW wrestlers in the audience. And I like that the WCW wrestlers can't even get like front row seats. They're like in the nosebleed section. That just shows you right there when Vince thought of WCW that they couldn't even get front row seats. That's awesome. Well, not awesome, but you know, I couldn't make out exactly everyone that were there, but it was Sean Stasiak, I think Chuck Palumbo, um, what's the guy's name? He was Chuck Palumbo's tag partner when he came in. He had like a Sean O'Hare was there.
Yeah, it's not no hair.
Um, and then I think it was it was it Miss Hancock, Stacy Keibler's WCW name. I was trying to
Yeah.
see because she didn't have that name yet, Stacy Keibler. So, um, and then I think that's the main ones that like I knew. Was there anyone else that was there that like I missed?
Um. Yeah, I don't think Lance Storm wasn't
Oh, he was there.
involved yet
He was there.
because he wasn't. Was he sitting ringside with Mike Awesome, or were they?
I think he was in the nosebleed section.
But I think that's pretty much it.
But yeah. Apparently they were supposed to do something on this show, but Stan Stasiak, um, no wait, it's Sean Stasiak. I think I said his father's name, not him. I think
Yeah,
it, um, Sean Stasiak like gave it away like in the media and stuff. So Vince almost sent these guys home. That's how bad he got it, Sean Stasiak. And Sean Stasiak got very much punished for this because I'm pretty sure this is right after he has that gimmick when he kept walking into stuff. So this is what happens when you spoil you know Vince's booking. You get this. So don't do that. Um,
don't do it.
I'm pretty sure didn't Tito Sabatelli do this also? Like he showed up at like NXT and like spoiled stuff and he got fired for it type of thing. I'm pretty sure that happened to him type of thing. Um, and then but yeah, we had this match here. Vince makes his entrance and they have the match and Vince smacks the dog shit out of Shane McMahon and Shane starts to Vince dominates Shane early throwing some right hands onto him and then Shane really fights back. He beats the crap out of Vince McMahon really bad. He tackles him to the ground. He throws him to the outside, throws him into the barricade. Um, he grabs like some type of like street sign that was like ringside and hits Vince over the head with it, and then he throws Vince into the steps, and he's just really firing away with those amazing Shane McMahon punches that everyone loves. And Shane grabs a kendo stick. He starts beating down Vince with the kendo stick. Um, he hits him with the monitor, and he sets Vince up on the announcer's table and gets ready to put Vince through the announcer's table. But then, uh, like he jumps off, and right when he's about to like hit Vince, Stephanie pulls Vince out of the way, and he ends up crashing and burning through the announcer's table. And he's laid out for like a while. And during all of this, because Vince had told Trish backstage to bring Linda out when Shane was in like a like really beaten down and everything like that. So Trish does this, and during this, Trish helps Vince get to his feet, and she smacks the dog shit out of Vince, which causes Stephanie McMahon to do the same to Trish Stratus, and it leads to a brawl between Trish and Stephanie McMahon, where they Trish chases her to the back, um, and Vince even looks at Linda and says, "You bitch" at her and everything like that, and he's about to do something vile towards Linda, but Mick Foley steps in and is like, "Don't you even think about it, Vince," and he tries to take Linda away, but Vince grabs a chair and clobbers the hell out of Mick Foley, hits him off the head, and he sets the chair up in the corner and sets Linda up in the corner, so that way she can watch as Vince beats down Shane. And Vince does this for a while. He grabs a few trash cans and beats up Shane with them. And then Linda McMahon finally arises from her chair, and the place came unglued. The place erupted when Linda McMahon stood up. It was absolutely insane. And, Shane tells Vince to turn around, and he does, and Linda low blows Vince. And following this, Mick Foley starts attacking Vince, and he hits a running knee into the corner. And then Shane McMahon sets up a trash can, and he sets it up in the corner. He jumps from the top rope and hits a drop kick from one side of the ring to the other onto Vince. And obviously, this is the first time he did this. This would become his finisher. This would become the coast to coast. And then Shane pins Vince and wins. And yeah, this match is great. It's not a great technical wrestling match, but this match definitely makes you feel emotions. And I think, when the Vince talk, Steve and I talked about, Vince knew when, as a heel, when he had to have his comeuppance. And Vince gets that double time. So Linda gets her comeuppance, Mick Foley gets his comeuppance, and Shane gets his comeuppance. I give this match 4.5 stars. It's not a great technical masterpiece or anything like that, but it's definitely a very sport entertaining spectacle and everything like that. And I think it's great. What did you think of this?
Um, I loved it. I thought it was great. I liked Mick Foley's inclusion in it. Linda rising from the chair again is one of the more iconic WrestleMania moments. Don't know if they'll show it anymore, but it's one of the more iconic moments um, to kick Vince in the nuts. But yeah, it's it's really it's a pretty good match for two basically non wrestlers.
Yeah, because Shane was like trained. I mean, he had been training and stuff, but he really wasn't a wrestler yet or anything like that type of thing.
And Vince
So
was never a wrestler.
yeah,
So,
um,
but the match was really good. I liked it a lot.
yeah, so yeah, it's awesome. Um, I think it stands out too because this match it took place after the women's match. I was about to say it took place after the Kurt Angle Chris Benoit match, but still it stands out on the show because not a lot of matches are this way. And then backstage it shows Undertaker and Triple H training, and then we have TLC two. It was for the WWF tag team titles. It's the Dudley Boys defended against Edge and Christian and the Hardys. And obviously, this feud had been going on for relatively over a year, and some type of conglomeration where they had even though it's not TLC one, it's like the prequel to TLC one, the Triangle Ladder match at WrestleMania 2000/16, whatever you want to say. Um, and they continued this feud in various ways. They had TLC 1 at SummerSlam, where Edge and Christian won. And then, Edge and the Hardys continued their feud. Edge and Christian and the Hardys continued their feud. And they had the cage match at Unforgiven, and then the ladder match. And then the Dudleys won the tag team titles from Edge and Christian at the Rumble. And then, that they kind of came back to this. Obviously, this was a TOC match because Edge and Christian were known for their chairs. The Dudleys had the tables, and the Hardys had the ladders and everything like that. And this was really exciting, obviously, too, because this might be the Attitude Era, the best the tag division had ever been for WWF. Um, I think we've talked about this off camera. There's been a few good eras of the tag division. I would say like um, nowadays tag division with on SmackDown anyways is really good. Um, the NXT tag division in the Black and Gold era. AEW's tag division, um, like when it started, was really good. Um, and then maybe like obviously like the Hogan era's tag division was awesome. And then maybe like New Japan's tag division's always been good, but I feel like um, there's a point where that was very good. And then maybe I'm trying to think of like another. Oh, I would say the era like what Team Hell No were the tag champs. That was probably another good era for the tag division. But I think the Attitude Era was probably the best the tag division for WWE has ever been. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that?
I agree.
Um,
Absolutely.
and Edge and Christian, the Dudleys and the Hardys were all the forefronts of it. They kind of got that ball rolling, and we had the match here. Um, the Dudleys and the Hardys start, beating up Edge and Christian. Because obviously that's a difference from this match. Because in 2000, Edge and Christian were the faces, and as well as the Hardys, where the Dudleys were the heels, and then obviously, Edge and Christian just worked better as heels. They changed the dynamic very much so. And I think that's why I think a lot of people like this match better because the dynamics of this match are much better because everyone's in the right roles and everything like that. Um, but yeah, going through the match, Edge sets up Matt into a trio roll position, and he's about to do something. He's going to run off a chair or something, but before he can, Jeff Hardy tries to run toward him, and he hits a drop toe hold onto Jeff, onto the steel chair. Um, the Hardys do their leg drop splash spot from the ladders, I believe, onto Christian. They end up sandwiching Edge and Christian in between ladders. Um, Bubba Ray Dudley hits a really cool power bomb onto Jeff Hardy, setting Edge through a table. And Jeff as well. But Edge clearly took the worst of that one. Um, and then the Dudleys hit a really cool Dudley device onto Matt Hardy. Um, and um, yeah, and then everyone kind of starts climbing the ladders at one point. Um, Probably missing some stuff here. The Dudleys Irish whip Edge into a ladder. They slingshot Edge into a ladder. But yeah, everyone starts climbing the ladders at some point, and everyone tips over the ladder onto each other. Christian took the worst of this. He took a really intense like backdrop onto the outside type of thing, and eventually everyone. What was good about this match too is everyone had an alliance with somebody. So it starts with the Dudley's partner in this. Spike Dudley comes out and he hits the Dudley dog onto Christian, sending him through a table. And himself. Spike Dudley always took a crazy bump anytime he was in a match. Um, and then Rhino comes out and he gores uh, Devon, and then he scores Matt Hardy through a table, and that was leaned up against the corner, and then um, Lita comes out and hits a head scissors takeover onto Rhino, and then yeah, it just kind of spills to just them kind of having like a three-way a little bit. Um, Lita blasts Spike Dudley off the head with a steel chair, which was just absolutely insane. And then following this, the Dudleys hit a 3D onto her. And then Jeff Hardy sets up a ladder, a huge ladder on the outside, and he hits a swanton bomb onto Rhino and Spike Dudley, which knocks out Spike Dudley's teeth and everything like that. And only Spike Dudley's table broke. Rhino's stayed in position. And then uh, the Dudleys try to climb the ladder, but Matt Hardy tips it over. Jeff Hardy tries to like tight rope the ladders. He was able to do the first two, but the second one kind of gave way. But luckily, he didn't get injured from that or anything like that. And then this obviously has the infamous moment at WrestleMania where the Dudleys move the ladder while Jeff Hardy's climbing it, and Edge ends up hitting that spear off the ladder from the other side onto Jeff Hardy. And obviously, this spot's very infamous because of how great it is. But obviously, this ended up taking off like 9 years off of, you know, Edge's career because he had to retire for 9 years, and he's come back now and everything like that. Um, and then, um, you know, the Dudley, I believe it's Stevon Dudley. No, it's Bubba Ray Dudley and Matt Hardy climbing the ladder, and then they're about to grab the belts, and then Rhino tips the ladder over and sends Bubba Ray Dudley and Matt Hardy crashing through four tables on the outside. And typically, they actually all broke. I think typically when they try to do a spot like that, like not all the tables break, but they actually all broke, which was really good. Um, and then Edge and Christian climb the ladder and grab the championships and become the new WWF Tag Team Champions. Um, this match is 5 stars. It's a classic. I think it's fantastic. I probably missed a bunch of spots, but those are probably the biggest spots of the whole match. But just definitely go watch this for yourself. This match really stands the time of Mania, and it's a really excellent match. It really set the table for a lot of like multi-person ladder matches that we see nowadays in professional wrestling and everything like that. It's truly excellent. I mean, obviously, some of this came at a cost because obviously, Edge was never the same after this match. And I'm pretty sure Jeff Hardy probably wasn't really the same after this match. But this match is still fantastic. I give it 5 stars. And yeah, this was kind of the end of like their trilogy because they obviously and everything like that. So I'm glad they went out with a bang. Obviously, they would have TLC 4 not long after this, and then they had TLC like 5, but that was like not the same one because like even though Bubba and Jeff were in that one, Like they didn't team with the same people; they teamed with different people. But yeah, I love this match. This match is probably um, up until WrestleMania 39, it's probably my favorite like tag title match that ever happened at WrestleMania. It probably was the best tag title match that ever happened at WrestleMania. Uh, but that depends on how you feel about WrestleMania 39's tag title match. But yeah, what did you think of this match and everything like that?
I'm gonna have to give it the 5-star treatment too. It's one of my favorite matches ever. It has one of my favorite moments ever in the Jeff Hardy getting speared. It was the first anyone had ever seen that had never been done before.
Yeah.
So it it was definitely iconic. Just a great match overall uh, between great tag teams. Um, yeah, it's an iconic match. It's one of the more what it is. Arguably the greatest tag team match in WWE history,
Yeah.
and um, yeah, it's one of my personal favorites. Um, Absolutely loved it.
So we just talked about it, but is it your favorite like tag title match at Mania? Because I'm still partial towards the one that between Sammy and KO versus the Usos, because of how much story that had and everything, and how much that ended up affecting WWE. I mean, like hugely nowadays and everything like that. Or do you prefer this match?
Um, that one too is another one of my personal favorite matches in WWE history. Like it's up there, but this for me the TLC match cannot. It's untouched at the top.
Yeah, I can see that. Um, Obviously some quick retrospectives because we've done all these guys before because they've shown up in past retros. But the Dudleys, have while Bubba Ray Dudley is kind of softly working with WWE again. He's shown up now a few times for some reunion shows. He's a coach on LFG, and he's also you know one of the hosts on the Busted Open Radio podcast and everything like that. Um, so that's really cool for him. Devon Dudley, hosts his own podcast. He was working with WWE for a bit, but now he's not really as much anymore. Him and Bubba Ray Dudley did something when NXT went over there for the ECW reunion show. The Hardys are actually having a hell of a tag team title run right now. They're doing really great work in TNA at the moment. They just recently returned. Well, they returned in WWE because they returned, but it's not like,
Pseudo,
huh?
like a pseudo return.
Yeah, they had like a pseudo baton where they showed up in NXT and everything like that,
My
and
proxy NXT is a WWE brand.
yeah, um, and then Edge and Christian, over in AEW, doing their thing.
Taking up the joint.
Yes, they are. Um, Whoever would have thought of all these three teams, Edge and Christian would be the ones we would end up liking the least. Enough of
That is true.
that. I never thought. I never thought in a million years that would have happened. So. The RT's in a tag team reunion with Edge and Christian in AEW, I guess. So that's that's a thing that's happening.
Great.
Um,
Speaking of great,
and I still think it's funny that the one of the reasons people wanted Edge and Christian to go to AEW was for the Hardys match, and that half isn't even there anymore. Now they're actually in the same. They're in the. They're in. Honestly, they would have been better off staying in WWE because they probably would have gotten it if they just stayed because the Hardys are pretty much there now.
yeah, they are.
It's just
That is very true.
half of that team. If you think about it, half of them when AW started, um, the first half, the Hardys part jumped, and then Edge and Christian was still there, and then Christian jumped, and then Edge finally jumped, and after that, the Hardys they pretty much left right when Edge and Christian got there, which is really funny.
They did.
Like, it's
They
hilarious.
did.
Um, then we had is this yeah The
The
gimmick.
classic next. The gimmick battle royal.
Uh, Makes sense to have this go next though, because we just had two really excited matches with the Vince and Shane match where they had a big pop there, and then they had this match. You kind of need to cool the crowd down off a little bit, so I'm cool with this being next. But we have the gimmick battle royal. Mean Gene Okerlund and Bobby the Brain Heenan came out to do commentary for this, um, which was really cool. They were kind of obviously because they couldn't get Gorilla Monsoon because he had passed by this point. So Mean Gene Okerlund was another good replacement for that. Um, and obviously seeing Bob with the Brain Heenan was really cool. Was this their first appearance? Well, it would have been their first appearance, right? Since WCW closed because they were
Yeah.
in. So this was cool. Um, and they worked real well together. I mean, you could definitely tell Mean Gene was a little green on commentary because he's never really done it before, but I thought he did well with what he had. But yeah, we had the gimmick battle royal. This was kind of cool. I kind of, where they brought back basically all of the gimmicks from the new generation Hogan era, and they just did like a big gimmick battle royal. I kind of would like them to do this with the Ruthless Aggression era because I feel like you could do this, and just bring. But that'd be kind of tough though, because like I feel like it's been too long. Like I don't think anyone would really remember some of the gimmicks that they would bring back. I feel like these gimmicks are more
Yeah.
memorable than those ones type of
I feel
thing.
like if you did it like at a WrestleMania and not like on an episode of Raw, I think you would get the people that watched that during those eras and to kind of invest back into it again.
Yeah. Um but yeah, the people in this battle royal were the Bushwhackers, um Duke the Dumpster Drosy. That was a thing. Doink Doink the
That
Clown.
was back in the mid '90s where everyone had to have a regular gimmick, like a
Yep.
plumber or a fucking garbage man.
He's the only one I think that showed up in that. Well, I guess there's one more that shows up in that era, but Dwight the Clown. Was it? It wasn't Matt Bloom, was it? It was the other guy.
Uh, I think in this one, I believe it was the Brooklyn Brawler.
Okay. Um, Nikolai Volkov. Um, Tugboat, which is kind of interesting because it's Typhoon and his tag partners in this match. I was even thinking when I was watching this, I was like, wait, weren't they a team? Because it's the same guy, but like, wait, no. Then I was like, no, they weren't
Yeah,
a team. And then I just looked it up and like, no, they were a team. It's just not the same gimmick.
yeah.
Um,
Tugboat was the original gimmick, and then when he turned heel originally after
yeah.
Tugboat, he became Typhoon.
I think they should have done Typhoon instead of Tugboat. That would have been since Earthquake was here. That didn't really make sense. But then we had the Goon.
But the Tugboat gimmick was the babyface gimmick, and they
Yeah.
so
The
I think that's what they did.
Well, we had the Goon, Earthquake, the Gobbledygooker. I don't know who he was in this match, but it was he was the thing. Brother Love. He comes out and says he loves us, Chris. So he loves. Apparently, he loves you.
I love you.
So he loves you. Um,
Yeah, he does.
Michael Hayes.
Oh, it was
What?
Hector Guerrero.
Oh, it was.
Because I know Hector was originally the gobbledygook. I don't know if he reprised it, but he did.
Yeah. But we had Michael Hayes, the One Man Gang, Kamala, um, with Harvey Wippleman ringside, Kimchi, Jim Cornette, and Repo Man, and Sergeant Slaughter, and also the Iron Sheik. I didn't say him because I'm obviously reading the wiki page on this one, and
Yeah,
he's not there because he wins.
he came
Um,
up last.
no, he didn't come out last. He came out like, um, you know,
Near the end of it.
yeah. But
He also, too, by the time he got down to the ring, they're almost all eliminated.
yeah. Um, Yeah, this match was a nice little experiment. I thought it was kind of some nice nostalgia to have. I'm not gonna go over this match blow by blow because pretty much what it is someone will get eliminated. It's kind of I mean, really enough, it's like that Survivor. It's like the woman. Remember the old Divas Survivor Series matches where like every like 5 seconds there'd be an elimination.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this match is.
Each of them got a pop, too, which was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Um, the Repo Man got eliminated right away, and like no one even knew about it originally. Like you don't even see his elimination like happen like on screen. It just happens kind of, which is pretty funny. Um, and let's see what else was like pretty significant here. Kamala got eliminated by it was someone that you wouldn't even think he got eliminated by. But he got eliminated. Oh, Sergeant Slaughter, which is really random. Like you would think it would take more than that, but it was not the case. Um, but yeah, it was just pretty much someone would get eliminated. Eventually, Sergeant Slaughter and Tugboat get into a struggle. Um, they did do a cool bit where Earthquake eliminated Tugboat, and they kind of gave each other a look like if you know you know type of thing. So, um, but yeah, then Sergeant Slaughter got eliminated by the Iron Sheik. Um, obviously, they had to give Sheik the win because his knees were shot at this time, and he couldn't go over the top rope. So the Iron Sheik they pretty much had to book him to win this match because he couldn't go over the top rope. So that's pretty funny. And then afterwards, Sergeant Slaughter puts him into the Cobra Clutch, and he had to do this very safely because obviously because Sheik's knees were so bad, they didn't want it breaking or anything like that. But this gimmick battle was like 3 stars. It's nice nostalgia, and it's just nice to see these people. And it's some of them. It's like the last time we really see these people on like a big stage. So I like this. I give it 3 stars. What'd you think of this?
I give it 3 stars. It was nice. The pops were nice. Like someone like Duke the Dumpster Drosy got a nice ovation. Yeah, it was kind of cool to see. Everyone from that late Hogan era into the new generation era, kind of getting back and giving them something, giving them some recognition again. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. As for some quick career retrospectives, we've done the Iron Sheik, the Bushwhackers. I think the only updated thing is which one is Luke the one that passed away pretty recently, or was it Butch? I think Luke is the one that passed away, right?
It's Butch.
Okay, so Bush passed away. Duke the Dumpster Drosy. This is kind of the last that he did on like a big stage. He just kind of worked the indie events. He got arrested like in 2014 for like drug abuse and all that type of stuff. So it's not good. Got to behave. But he didn't want to behave, I guess. So, um, and then Doink the Clown. Um, I guess how do I do this? Because it's not the same Doink that I do. I guess the Brooklyn Brawler. Um, you know, continued in the company. He worked behind the scenes, and they would bring him out on occasion for a Legends pop, and that was kind of it. So you know, um, Nikolai Volkov we've done. We don't need to do him again. Tugboat and Earthquake we've done, but the new thing is, well, not as Tugboat, but the natural disasters are going into the Hall of Fame this year, which is really cool. So I'm excited about that.
Hall of
Um,
Fame deals for both of them, and Kamala too is a recent Legends deal signee.
wait, what? How does that work? How can he sign? Like, is it his You mean his family, right?
Yes,
So you
his
just said,
family's.
yeah. And
It's
then,
like how can Earthquake sign it too if he has passed? His family signed it.
yeah. Well, Tugboat, and I'm guessing, is Tugboat still alive then?
Yeah,
Oh, so he'll be
that's
at the
like
Hall.
yeah, he'll be there.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's Cody and Dustin's uncle.
Oh, really?
Yep, he married one of I think it was one of Dusty's sisters.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Oh, you know what? Maybe they covered that in the A&E doc, and I just forgot. So, um, then we had the Goon. Um, he just kind of went and worked in the events. He didn't really do too much after this. Um, and then One Man Gain. I don't know if you know this. Are you still there, by the way?
Yeah,
Okay. You just went silent, so I wanted to make sure you were
no,
still there.
I was looking up someone.
Um, but
Yeah, because the Goon was Wild Bill Irwin. He was a wrestler in World Class Championship Wrestling for forever. Really a real stalwart in the 80s.
and then yeah, One Man Gain. Did you hear the story that like he was supposed to be the African American Dream, but he lost so much weight that he had to do this gimmick instead because he didn't fit into the costume. Um,
That was so bad. That was such like a insane gimmick when you look back on it now.
really was. Um, but yeah, One Man Gain. I think has passed away since this show. I think he had like a big retirement tour and stuff, and then he ended up passing away. Um,
No, he's still alive.
oh, I look him up. Then I thought I looked him up. I also thought we did the career retrospective, so I didn't do the research. So
No, everyone else, the rest of the people on this list are still alive besides Kamala.
um, he actually lost weight because of a heart attack too. Actually, so that's pretty sad. Um, Oh, it says in 2016 he was part of a class action lawsuit filed against WWE alleged that wrestlers incurred trauma. Oh, he was part of the concussion lawsuit back
Yeah,
in
he's part of,
2016.
yeah.
Um,
So many fucking wrestlers were a part of that.
um, yeah, he's still he retired in 2009 actually, which is pretty surprising. Um, so he actually beat Jim Duggan in the main event, which is full circle. It's pretty full circle. So, um, and then who else do we have to do a career with specters? So
Oh
Kamala
wait,
we
Kim Chi in that match was Brawler. I don't know who the fuck Doink the Clown was in this match then.
oh I don't know.
Because
Um, cause what?
oh, it was Ray Apollo. Damn, I don't know who he did in that match.
Oh,
He was he was the fake Doink. He was the face Doink
oh,
after Matt Bourne have left and gone to ECW.
anything career perspective on him? What he's doing nowadays and stuff?
Let's see. What is he? I don't think he's done much of anything. Where are you? Um, yeah, he was wrestling on the Indies until 2014
Okay. And then Harvey Whippleman, we've done a career
as
perspective
Doink
on.
the Clown. That was the only thing that he really only wrestled on a Doink.
Oh, yeah, Harvey Whippleman. We've done a career perspective on him. Jim Cornette still does his podcast where he pisses Chris off somewhat. Um, and then
Pissed off
Whippleman,
AEW fans. Doesn't piss me off.
huh?
He pisses off AEW fans.
He used to piss you off, but now he doesn't anymore. So, because you've seen the light. Um, and
I
then
have.
Repo Man, obviously that was Smash, Action Smash. They only do indie events. They'll kind of do like a meet and greet, places and things like that. So that's cool for them.
Also, too, under Legends deals now, too, also.
That's right. I think you shared that. That's pretty recent, right?
That's a very recent thing with them the last. They did like a recent Legends signee within the last couple of months. Because Natural Disasters are, Kamala, the Axe and Smash are, along with Crush, too. Crush's family had signed on for the Legends deal, so.
Look at all these people signing Legends, making peace. Um,
It's
love this.
awesome.
Yeah,
They'll
and then
probably all
Sergeant.
be in game very soon.
They
I
probably
wouldn't be
will.
surprised if they'll be in next year's game because I think it's still a little bit too late for this year's game.
Then Sergeant Slaughter, we've done career retrospectives on him before, type of thing. So that's cool. But let's continue talking about WrestleMania X7. Next match was Triple H versus The Undertaker. Um, the reason for this match was Triple H, was pretty much a top guy. He had beaten all of the top main event players, except the Undertaker. Undertaker had to come out and remind him of that, saying that you would never beat me. I'm the dead man. Even though you weren't a dead man at this time anymore. So what are you talking about? Um,
Oh yeah, he is the dead man though.
he was very much not the dead man here. So
Yeah, he was under the best gimmick, the American Badass.
yeah, so I don't know why he said the dead man, but um, so Triple H kind of took offense to this. He attacked Undertaker
Thank
back.
God you agreed with me.
Um, but yeah, he attacked Undertaker backstage and you know, joked him with the chair and said that I don't need to prove anything to you. I am the game. And this caused Undertaker to take offense to this. He waited for Triple H in the parking lot / garage area uh, to get there, and he beat him up, which caused him to get arrested. And Triple H was going to press full charges, which caused you know a restraining order to get put on, but where he couldn't get within 25 feet. In range of Stephanie McMahon, thinking that Triple H thinking he was being smart there, thinking that would get Undertaker to leave him alone, but that was not the case because Undertaker outsmarted them and had Kane go over there, and
Hell yeah.
he pretty much threatened William Regal to make a match between him and to make a match between Undertaker and Triple H. I almost just made it seem like I had Undertaker threaten Regal to make a match between Regal and Triple H. I think Regal would have, but um,
To threaten him to where you're in the match.
Undertaker doesn't want the match. He wants Regal to have the match for him. Um, but yeah, and if Triple H and if Regal didn't make that match, he was gonna have like Kane throw like Stephanie McMahon like off of like like a structure or whatever that was like 20 feet high, and like
Yeah.
it was really cool. Like
It was about the same, I would say the same distance as when Big Show had Tori up and he was going to throw her off.
I remember there's a funny bit in the video package when Regal just goes, "I can't do that," and then he was like, "Okay, Kane, send Stephanie down here." Like it's so good. Um, And yeah, Regal makes the match because he doesn't want Stephanie McMahon to like get injured or die. Which one do you think would have happened? Died or injured or both?
Die or die or be seriously hurt.
um, and then yeah, Undertaker and Triple H just kind of continued this feud. And what do you think of this feud going into it at the time? It was really good.
Very good.
Did you?
Undertaker under his extremely amazing American badass gimmick, the elite
Uh,
gimmick of the Undertaker.
but which is doing nowadays actually. So kind
How does
of
that make you feel?
not happy. But yeah. So did you know this originally wasn't going to even be Undertaker versus Triple H? They tried to get like Mike Tyson in to do a boxing match with Triple H, but then they couldn't agree on like money. And before that, it was going to be Shawn Michaels, but then Shawn Michaels turned up to an episode of like Raw on pills and like got sent home, and that led to Triple H and Shawn like not talking for like a year. It's insane.
That's just what Sean was doing at the time.
Yes, he was. Um, do you remember James and I got into a debate. Not got into a debate about that because he tried brushing it off by like being like, "No, that wasn't the case. Sean just was just tired that day when that clearly is not what happened," type of thing. So,
Close.
huh?
Not even close.
That would be funny though if Sean actually was just tired that day, and Sean ended up being
Like,
right,
guys, I'm gonna go to sleep.
and then everyone just thinks he's on drugs, and he's not. But like, he just blows up to the point where like it made it worse. That'd be awesome. Um,
That'd be great television.
um, and Sean has and ever since then, Sean quit doing drugs, and he needed to find vices so he wouldn't do drugs. So what did he do? He decided I'm just gonna break up every fucking tag team every time I feel I need a vice.
Oh, he did. What a great vice.
Um, he has stopped doing that though. So he must have a vice recently to do any drugs because he hasn't broken up any. Yeah, no, he did break up one lately. He broke up Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. He broke that one up.
Well, yes.
Actually, he technically broke up Julio and Stephanie Vacchio as a team because they had a match. Or do you not count that one?
Not yet because they haven't really broken up yet.
He's actually teasing another one. Actually, it's not. It's kind of a tag team. Carmen Petrovic and is it Ashanti the Adonis? Is that his name? That because
Yeah.
they're having issues.
Ooh.
Yeah. I wonder if 1 week he's just gonna randomly decide like fuck it, I'm waking up Dog State. They just got together. I'm fucking waking them up. I hate
I
this.
mean, what have they done in the last 3 weeks besides clap in the stands?
Maybe he'll get mad at them and be like fuck. Do you think Sean likes LFG? Because that's because that's a
No.
tag. I still. Do you think Sean forgot Cutler James is an LFG?
Yeah, I think he
Because
did.
apparently he did. Um, but anyhow,
If
back
he
to the
doesn't win, that'd be hilarious.
huh.
If he doesn't win, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
um, but anyhow, let's get to this epic WrestleMania match here. Triple H comes out to Motorhead performing his theme song.
I
I
think
thought
this is the first time I would have performed live.
I thought it was really bad. They were not good.
Yeah, it's not. The second time they do it is better.
They didn't even like sing his song. Like none of the lyrics that they sang here were in Triple H's like song. Like it's so bad. It's not good.
It's not good. It's just not good.
I, they're one
Yeah,
of those.
just it's very oddly bad.
It's what I think. Motorhead's one of those bands that like is worse live. Like they're much better when you just hear it after and it's in the studio and everything like that. It's just not good. This was really
Yeah,
bad. Um, and then Undertaker came out on his motorcycle. Good for him.
fuck yeah. Let's go.
Hey, at least he didn't. At least he's not taking 20 million years to get to the win. You're just there. You know, you hop on a
Just
bike and you're
just
there.
get on that bike.
We make it sound like it's not. We make it. I mean, even though I said motorcycle, we make it sound like he's taking like a regular two-wheel bicycle, not a motor. Imagine he just took a bicycle like down to the wind, not a motorcycle.
I mean, it could have been a scooter. Kurt tried to give him a scooter.
That's true. Do you remember Unigo and Camacho always came into the ring on like a bicycle, and like Camacho was always on like the back of Unigo type of thing.
And they weren't fucking. They're just walking it down to the ring.
What even on the bicycle? What are they doing? Um, but yeah, before the match starts, Undertaker starts attacking Triple H. I like this happened so sudden, like the camera's somewhere else, and then like all of a sudden, like they're fighting. And during this point, they fight by the Spanish announcers table, which had to get replaced with like a regular table. So Undertaker like slammed Triple H onto it, and he went through this table. And like Paul Heyman had to mention, like this is not a good night to be a Spanish commentator. Um, and
It never is. It never was.
yeah, yeah. Undertaker starts firing away on Triple H. He had some really good right hands, really good clotheslines. He had a really good splash in the corner, big boots. Um, and then he goes for the old school, but Triple H counters it into a spine buster. And then he follows this. No, not a hip toss actually. And then he hits a couple of neck breakers on the Taker. Um, and then Undertaker hits a choke slam on a Triple H, um, and he nearly gets the victory. This is after Triple H went for the slughammer, and then he got splashed in the corner by the referee. And Undertaker got like really mad that wasn't the finish, so he beat up Mike Chioda and followed this up with an elbow drop. And Mike Chioda's out like the rest of the match, pretty much. Like he is just dead, type of thing. Um, and they fight into the crowd. They fight over by like the production like area, and this just really shows how much just production in life has just changed because you can just see the rest. They have like old school monitors and everything like that. It's really funny, but it wasn't funny at the time. But it's funny in 2025. So I bet 20,001 Chris when he watched the show didn't even was like whatever Owen, like this is cool. You're over
Yeah.
there on your lap. You're over there on your old 2001 computer, being like, yeah, this is cool shit. And then like 2025 Chris laughing at 2001 Chris. Um,
Yeah.
Pretty soon 2000.
2000, 2001 Chris is about to get the scare of his lifetime in 2003 when that said Kane takes his mask off.
You should go back in time and talk to 2000. I mean, I bet you looked it up on a 2001 computer too, actually. So,
Oh yeah. It was horrifying. Going on
um,
WWE.com next day and seeing that after not expecting it. Yeah, that was pretty horrifying.
Did you shut it off right away? Did you like keep it? I don't know.
Oh my god, I quickly X'd out of that. I quickly X'd out.
Did you let out like a big scream,
Quickly.
or did you
It
like?
was on the homepage. Like when you would go into .com, it was the first thing that popped up on the homepage. It was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
More horrifying than John Cena turning heel?
It was scary as fuck. Imagine you go on .com the next day and someone's charred face is the first thing that you see on .com.
One time I went online. This was when they did the Undertaker Edge match from One Night Stand, where like if Undertaker lost, he'd be banned from WWE. I was so sad when I clicked on there and saw that Undertaker lost, thinking he was never gonna show up in WWE like ever again. Like, bah! I was like, no.
I also too. It was probably about a few months after the unmasking when he looked normal, and I went on to .com with one of my friends, and I was like, I'm gonna take a quick look at Kane real quick. And when I saw his face, it like the render was updated to where he was like a few weeks later, where he like looked like he does now, but without the hair. And it's like I immediately put like my Game Boy up on his face because it still scared me. Even
Um,
post turn.
I guess Kane's just a scary man. So
That's why I didn't watch Raw for the rest of 2003.
you actually did miss out on much because that was the height of fucking Triple H burying people. So
Yeah, I was happy.
um,
I remember I'd be watching SmackDown because it didn't have Kane on it, and then they would show like a replay, like a rewind of Raw, and I would hide my face every single time, until it was over, so I wouldn't see Kane.
that's awesome. But anyhow, so yeah, Undertaker and Triple H fight into the crowd. They fight on the production thin, like structure. Triple H hits Undertaker like two times with a steel chair, and he's about to hit him a third time, and Undertaker grabs him and he choke slams him off the structure onto a crash pad, which you didn't see at first, but when they showed the replay, you could totally see that it was a crash pad. So
Oh yeah,
you know they didn't really do a good job hiding it, but like again, you gotta protect the wrestlers, so it doesn't bother me too much. So, um, and then Undertaker hits an elbow drop off of the structure onto Triple H, and the medics are about to check on Triple H, but Undertaker intimidates the medics. He's like, "No, you're not checking on him. Like we're ending this in the ring." So, um, yeah, he puts Triple H in the ring. Um, Undertaker has the match won with a tombstone, but the referee's not there to make the count. Um, and he goes for the last ride, and Triple H grabs the slughammer. And when Undertaker pulls him up for the last ride, Triple H hits him with the slughammer. And he almost gets the win there, but he doesn't. This busts the Undertaker open. And Triple H starts punching at the Undertaker in the corner. And Undertaker turns this into a last ride, and he wins the match. I love this match a lot. I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was great stuff. I love the crowd brawling they did in the match. I did like the big choke slam. Even though it's on a crash pad, it still looks cool. And they made Triple H look really good in defeat. This is one of the occasions where because the streak really wasn't a thing yet. So if you probably watched this match without knowing about the streak, and at the time it probably didn't make sense for Undertaker to win this match because Triple H had just beaten Austin and things like that. And like he was really on fire at this time, and it really didn't make sense for him to all of a sudden to lose to Triple H. But I'm an Undertaker fanboy. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. He's gonna win every match ever. That's how. So it doesn't matter type of thing. Um, but yeah, what did you think of this and everything like that?
great match, great WrestleMania match. Um, I loved it. I mean, if anyone, I mean, at this point, what was he at this point on the streak?
Well, I remember. I think it's 9 because I remember 18 does the 10-0 thing, so I think it's 9.
So, I mean, it could have been. Yeah, he was 9-0. That made him 9-0.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think at that point it was that big of a deal. because he only started in '91, and it was 2001. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. They didn't really start hyping it up until like probably the next year, because at that point he was going to be 10-0.
Yeah.
So like after WrestleMania 18, he's 10-0. I think that's when they in 2002 is like by the time the next year's WrestleMania rolled around in Seattle, that's when they really started to hype it up.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I mean, he could have lost, and it would have made Triple H look really strong. But at the same time, like either guy really could have won it, and it would have made sense.
yeah. Plus, as we're going to talk about the next match, they needed a big face for the heel champion to go against pretty soon, because one of the big faces that, and also in this match, wasn't going to be around very much, so they needed to build up a big baby face. I mean, then you could make the argument why wasn't it Triple H, but then they make another fucking booking they make another fucking booking mistake the next night on Raw, when that fixes that makes it in that makes Triple H not the fucking guy. So, um, but yeah, I give it 4.5. What would you give it?
I give it the same.
Then we had the main event, not the show. It wasn't a thing yet. So think about this: there's actually a lifetime, Chris, where there was no main event. How do you, isn't that feel weird? Because it's been
Glorious.
you know. Um, but yeah, it's a no disqualification match for the WWF Championship. It's The Rock defending against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Um, obviously this feud, they've been feuding for years. They were the two guys of the Attitude Era. They had matches, more particularly at WrestleMania 15 and Backlash in 1999. And then in 1999, Stone Cold Steve Austin had to go take time off to deal with a neck injury from when he got dropped on his head at SummerSlam 97. So Austin was gone for a while, and during this time, The Rock was already a big star, but when Austin went away, he became like the biggest star in the business at this and everything like that. Like he became a
Yeah.
huge star, um, like the face of the company pretty much.
Oh, he was
Stone Cold.
everywhere at that point. Rock was like he was all over TV. He was everywhere at this point.
And then Stone Cold came back in No Mercy, I believe, in 2000, and then um, they had teased that there was going to be something that was going to go on with
Yeah.
Austin and Rock, but not really much came of it. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin won the Rumble in 2001, and then the next month, The Rock won the WWF Championship, and that was going to be a match at WrestleMania. Um, and yeah, this feud was very good. The only weird bit about this feud was they added that stipulation where Deborah Stone Cold Steve Austin's wife was going to be the Rock's manager, and that one of it wasn't good. And even the WWF finally agreed, because that was not a thing on this show. Deborah was the Rock's manager, which is really weird because it's in the video package, and then nothing comes of it when the match happens. So. But the biggest thing is there's a lot of stare downs. They have that really intense interview backstage on SmackDown where The Rock talks about how he's the top of his game and everything like that, and Austin talks about his desperation to want to become the WWF champion. Obviously, the biggest thing that comes from this hype is the video package for this match is seen as like probably the greatest video package that the WWF/E has ever produced. Um, I still think it might be. Um, I feel like we've gotten a lot of great video packages nowadays. Like the one for Mania 40, Night 2 with Cody was awesome. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, is this a hype package? Because it's technically not a hype package, but like that face off that like Roman and Cody have, like on SmackDown in the stadium. I think that's a good one. Um, and then but I don't does that count as a hype package? Because that was more of a segment than a hype package. So, um,
I think
huh? Oh, did I lose you? I think I lost him again.
it all now. Now,
Oh, are you there? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can change Wi-Fi's again.
get to the main event. It starts fucking acting up.
Say that. All right, just say everything you just said again. I asked you if the Roman Cody video package counted as a video package.
Yes,
Okay,
I think it does.
but
Because that was great also too.
and the Roman Punk thing they had before Survivor Series War Games. Um, but yeah, this still might be the greatest video package of all time. The theme song they picked for it, was this is when WWF entered the partnership with Limp Bizkit and everything like that, where you know, they played just one more fight. I knew the name of the song before I came on here. Uh, My Way. They played My Way.
My way. Yep.
And that's probably it's really weird. I remember we've always had conversations. I really like that song, but I remember I think it was you and John thought that you're really a big fan. You thought they were overhyped, but you liked them and all that type of stuff. So, um, but it's really interesting too because Limp Bizkit and WWE kind of had a bad end in partnership because of what happened at SummerSlam 2012, type of thing. And then it seems like everything's good because I remember they took their song out of the network, but on Peacock you have like their song in the video package and everything like that. So not sure what's going on there. Um, but yeah, we had this match here. This is when Stone Cold switches theme song to Indestructible by Disturb. No. Um, it's not Indestructible by Disturb, but it was like a Disturbed theme song that he had, where his music had lyrics for a little bit and everything like that. It's really good. I really like that one. It didn't fit probably Austin's thing, but
Glass shatters.
there we go, Last Shadows. But yeah, so we had this match here, and Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock start brawling. Um, he goes to hit The Rock off the face with the WWF Championship, but The Rock ducks it, and they continue to brawl. Um, Austin drops The Rock ribs first onto the barricade. They brawl into the crowd for a little bit. The match was made no disqualification, very last minute. And Heyman and JR thought this was odd, which I thought was a good sign of foreshadowing. Uh, Rock leans over the announcer's table, the English one, and it just completely gives way, like it completely breaks. Which I think probably sucked because I guarantee you they were gonna do a big announcer's table spot, but then they couldn't do it because the table broke. So, um, but yeah, Austin, you know, uh, starts dominating the Rock in the beginning. The Rock mounts a comeback. It's a stiff clothesline onto Austin. He gets a really good swing neck breaker onto Austin, and he starts attacking him while Austin towards the timekeeper's area. Austin clabbers the Rock off the skull with a ring bell, and then Austin starts working over the head wound of the Rock. Austin undoes the turnbuckle, and then he hits a DDT. The Rock hits a flying clothesline. He sends Austin headfirst into the turnbuckle, and then he smashes the Austin off the skull with the wind bell. And then they both start exchanging submissions. You know, uh, Austin does the $1 Million Dream. Before that, he did the Sharpshooter. They recreate the WrestleMania 12 spot. No, sorry, the WrestleMania 13 spot where the Rock puts Austin in the Sharpshooter and the Austin almost passes out. Um, which is kind of insignificant because that just went into the Austin Brett match just went into the Hall of Fame like this year stuff. So that's pretty cool. Um, and then Austin hits a stunner. Rock kicks out. Rock hits the rock bottom. Austin kicks out. And then during this match, Vince McMahon starts making his way towards the ring, which is pretty interesting. He's not really selling the fact that he just had like a street fight like an
Exactly. It
hour
was.
ago. So that was weird. And then um, The Rock has the match won particularly. He hits the people's elbow on Austin, but Vince runs in and pulls The Rock, off of Austin, off the pinning position. So that's a little weird in the beginning. And The Rock goes after Vince, and Austin uses this opportunity to hit the stunner on The Rock, and Rock kicks out. And at this point, nothing seems off at this point, but that's a little weird that Austin used that opportunity to take advantage of The Rock. Um, and then, uh, Austin asked Vince for a steel chair, um, and Vince clobbers The Rock with the chair, um, and The Rock kicks out of that. Um, and then The Rock mounts a little bit of a comeback, but then Austin starts to he hits a low blow on The Rock. He clubs him again off the head with the chair. Rock kicks out, and then he just destroys The Rock with the chair. Just really fires away on him, and then you know. Austin covers The Rock, and Austin becomes the champion. Austin sold his soul to the devil, Vince McMahon, because he was that desperate to win the WWF Championship. And they celebrate with beers together. Afterwards, Austin hits The Rock off the skull with the WWF Championship title. Um, and all this in theory, the way this match is structured and everything like that works in theory. The fact that Austin was so desperate to become champion again, he's willing to sell his soul to the devil himself to become champion. But unfortunately, it was not the case. The main reason this didn't work is where they were, because they were in Austin, Texas, and no one was gonna boo Stone Cold Steve Austin this night. Stone Cold Steve Austin was very beloved. Honestly, he could have. I think I think you've said this. He could have murdered Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm sorry. I reversed that. Um, Stone Cold
Gonna
Steve
murder
Austin.
himself.
I guess so. Stone Cold Steve Austin could have murdered The Rock on this night, and he was still gonna get cheered. That's how. You know. Um, that's how beloved Stone Cold Steve Austin was in Texas. It was just not the state and not the time to do this. Um, Also, Austin was just too beloved to even turn heel anyways. Um, and No one was just gonna boo Austin. He was just that over. It wasn't like his character was getting stale or anything like that. I know Austin felt that way, because he had done this gimmick for so long, but it was still working and all that type of stuff. Everyone still loved this gimmick. Um, and then also too, they were gonna have a big issue because the other top face that Austin could have feuded with, The Rock, was gonna be was gonna be gone for a while because he was gonna go film. Was it wasn't the Scorpion Kid? No, it was the Scorpion Kid, right? Was that what he went and filmed in 2001? I believe it was.
Um, it was either the Scorpion King or yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
Scorpion King was 02. Was it the Mummy? Yeah, it was the Mummy.
Yeah, the Mummy. So like they didn't have The Rock, so they didn't really have any top faces that like Austin could have feuded with. It was really just Taker, um, and that was really it. And you could definitely tell they had to pivot with The Rock not being there because then they had to turn Angle face, and then they turned Chris Benoit face. And I'm pretty sure Austin just didn't really have a lot of top challengers to really feud with. You could say, well, they could have shown Triple H face. That would have worked because they had history. And then they fucked that up because they did the 2-man power trip. That also didn't really make any fucking sense. And I think too this caused a lot of people to just tune out anyways, because no one wanted to boo Austin. And then Austin's heel one was really bad because he was way too comedic and way too cowardly. And then I think it also just kind of showed that like Vince knew this was like the start. Even though it's very brief, this is the starting stages of where Vince like knew that he was the only game in town and no one was gonna step to him, so he could pretty much just do whatever the hell he wanted because there's only one company around at this time. So like I can pretty much get away with anything, and I don't have to take as much risk. I don't have, what the hell other company they're gonna watch. So yeah, this wasn't good. Austin's heel turn probably could have worked. But I feel like it just really did not make sense for him either to sell a soul to Vince McMahon type of thing. Or if you're gonna do this, it should have been something where like they still didn't like each other type of thing. Because I remember it just really Austin's character takes a complete 180 where all of a sudden he like loves Vince McMahon like a father figure type of thing. I don't know if Austin has said that before anyways in interviews, but it just really didn't work for this character and everything like that. Um, this match is still 4 3/4 stars. This match would have been 5 stars had Austin not turned heel. If Austin just probably won clean, this probably would be 5 stars. But the Austin heel turn really ruins this match. And I feel like the turn itself is just bad anyways. But then with the hindsight, it just makes it even worse because Austin's heel turn was just really bad. I remember too. He gets that tail. Does he get that terrible Alliance theme song after
He
this?
does.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, what
He
did you
has like
think?
3 of them.
Yeah, but what did you think of this song? Not song. What did you think of this match?
Oh, this song is great.
Yeah, what did you?
The match itself, um, I give it like 4, 4 and a quarter. Um, really good match, but again, like you said, the Austin heel turn has ruined it. And if in the Steve Austin documentary from 2011, he said that he felt like he was getting stale and that he needed to turn heel. But he said in the end, it was a huge mistake on his part. He said he should have, when they were doing the beer salute. He said I should have just stunned his ass right in the middle of the ring because he could have used Vince for the match and then to get the title, and then just stunned him right afterwards.
Yeah.
But
Um.
like you said, like the heel turn itself, like afterwards, like it just became like a he became like a goofy comedic heel. Like it was funny. Steve was hysterical, but that's not what it was supposed to be. He was supposed to be this serious ass kicking heel, and it just didn't have the intended. Um, it missed the mark.
Yeah, and I think too. That's why a lot of people tuned out after WrestleMania X7 because of Austin's heel run mainly.
Yeah. Oh,
Um.
they did, and the fact that Triple H got hurt right afterwards too,
That's right.
right when the power trip was picking up steam. Uh, Triple H tears his quad for the first time, and he's out for almost a year,
Yeah.
and that really killed that momentum. And then because he was out the entire invasion angle, so they had to come up with something. And then he became like the paranoid, uh, psychopath or whatever, and it just did not. And it missed the mark big time.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, that's the end of Mania X7. Letter grade for this show.
With all included, I'm gonna give it an A-.
Um. Yeah, I agree. You know, the show really is well done. Really, you know, hits the mark and everything like that. But I think that it's really just that Austin heel turn that really uh in a weird way, I should say I can't really say ruins it because it's still one of the best manias of all time. But if Austin just won the title as a face, we would probably be giving the show like an S rank and all that type of stuff. But that Austin heel turn, really kicks it down. Um, but this mania is obviously praised as it well should be. It's a fantastic um, mania and everything like that. And now we could say this, we've had a couple manias since then and stuff. In your opinion, is this the best WrestleMania of all time?
Um, that's tough. Poof. I would say no, just because if the main event had gone differently and had Austin still had won but stunned Vince in the end, and basically the next night of Raw came out and said I just used him to get me the title, and I hate Vince McMahon. And I would stun him every single day of the week if I could, like something like that. To like, he's still the babyface. Um, but with that included in it, I can't say it's the best because to me it's just not, because that really was almost the beginning of the end for Austin.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think too. There are better manias out there. I like 19 more. That has that has some great stuff on it with the Jericho Michaels match, the Hogan McMahon match, Austin's last match up until his last match as a full time wrestler is on that show, and then obviously the main event's great on that show, and the undercard's really good.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that show's phenomenal.
39,
18 is really good too.
yeah, 39. Um, was very good.
Yep.
And I think 40 is I don't think it's recency bias because now we've had some time away from it. I still think 40 is the best one. Cody finishes his story. The opener with Seth and McIntyre, that cash in's fantastic. The 6-way ladder match is absolutely awesome. Rhea and Becky's awesome considering the fact that like Rhea had a panic attack and like Becky was going in like sick or whatever. And they produced that. The Bailey
Yeah,
Io
that was
Sky match,
amazing.
yeah, it's very good. LA Knight AJ Styles is very good. Um, there's a lot to love about WrestleMania 40, both nights and everything like that. I mean, Sammy Gunther, is awesome. Like, um, I think 40 is the best one. It's just one of those manias. I think that would just like live in live in famousness and just really and we got everything we wanted. I think we got everything we wanted out of that show, and you know we got some great stuff with the Punk and McIntyre feud kicks in a high gear. Cody's WWE title run, even though it's had some stumbles, has been very good. And he's been a top guy ever since. We got Damian Priest as a top guy out of that. Like Mania 40, I think just is I think is the best. I think is the best one, type of thing. But
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
yeah, that's the end of this video. And before we get out of here, is there anything you want to plug or promote?
Um, watch our recent aftershock.
Yeah,
Just watch it. It's good stuff.
and then watch the next. You could see Chris and I have a nice debate about who Al Grande Americano is and everything like that. So,
See it there,
um,
and I'm pretty fucking sure we'll have a debate again coming up Wednesday, and then maybe the next time we do aftershock too, because apparently El Grande Americano is making his
states.
American television debut Monday in Minnesota, which is convenient because it's fucking Chad Gable's whole hometown, and that is Chad Gable.
You did. I thought we were making progress because you said apparently he's making his debut. I thought we were getting somewhere there, but I guess we're not getting anywhere yet. So, um, we'll get there. We'll get there. Um, but yeah. As for my stuff, check out like you said, those aftershocks. Check out some more retros. Chris and I are gonna do some more retros. We're gonna try to do a ton next week. Um, we're gonna do WrestleMania 12, WrestleMania 13, and maybe like squeeze in WrestleMania 20 if we can. Um, and then yeah, check out Aftershocks and GM mode might be coming back if we can fit it in. But um, considering the fact that the only day we record Aftershock is Wednesdays, and that would be the day we record GM, it's looking very doubtful right now. So, but that's pretty much it, guys. Oh, and all the Talkinator, check out that channel. Yellow Jackets and OVB finally gonna get wrapped up, hopefully. So that's pretty much it, guys, and we will talk to you guys later.